This year's biggest events are on Fox Sports, home to the World Series, Super Bowl 39, and in February, the 2005 Daytona 500. Fox Sports, celebrating 10 years of excellence.
And the peace and serenity of the Irish Hills, Michigan's famous resort area, will today roar with the sounds of speed. Fox Sports welcoming you to the home of the Detroit Pistons, Detroit engines, and Detroit cars. On this Father's Day, the bonds that have held the NASCAR family together have been stretched by controversial decisions, verbal blasts, and deliberate crashes recently. Today, though, a great race hopefully will put an end to NASCAR's family feud. From Michigan International Speedway, our Hollywood Hotel trackside, as we welcome you to where America gathers every weekend for NASCAR. And thanks for being with us, beginning today with Jeff Gordon on the pole, teammate Brian Vickers alongside, and another teammate, Jimmy Johnson, right behind him. Our teammates here, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond, and we welcome to all the dads. Happy Father's Day, and we're all dads, so happy Father's Day to you
Father's
guys.
Day.
Jess and Sarah, happy Father's Day.
It's a great place, a great spot. The industry is watching closer. This is the birthplace of the automobile, right? So a little more pressure, different kind of pressure on the guy behind the wheel.
Well, when you come here to Detroit or to this racetrack, you know, all the manufacturers are here and all the VIPs, everybody that has anything to do with building these cars, from factory workers to the top echelon. So they want to see that they're getting their money's worth. They want to see their products perform, because no matter what you think, what wins on Sunday sells on Monday.
Definitely right. When you talk about coming to Detroit, it's bragging rights. A lot of times we talk about how Charlotte is a hometown for all the teams. Well, this is their hometown. A lot of families are going to be up in the grandstands. But when they leave here this afternoon, they want to have bragging rights. Whether you're a Dodge, a Ford, or a Chevrolet lover, you want those bragging rights.
More than 150,000 people here in attendance, first in Dover, then in Pocono. We've witnessed unacceptable results, disappointing finishes. When there was a caution on the track, it led to confusion in the pits and in the stands. Confucius say, confusion in the pits, not good.
Not good.
Under the rules, the caution light freezes the field, but over the past two races, a caution light has resulted in the scoring system actually freezing up, and then the decision to open pit road became unglued, and then we had, 3 of the last 6 races have actually ended under caution, and we set records for slow speeds in both Dover and Pocono. So NASCAR has apologized once again. Do we have a solution?
Well, I don't know that we have a solution, but here's what. This year, we started this year off saying this was the year of change. We've changed everything: title sponsor, leadership. We've tried a new point system. I think the fans are fed up with change. I think we got to go back to where we were 2 or 3 years ago. We got to give the fans, they don't know what's going on.
All right, so you say no lucky dog, no free pass.
That's right. Amen.
I do away with all
Amen.
that.
Go back to what we used to do as far as when you had the white flag come out, let's race back to the checker, end it like that instead of having all this caution stuff and freezing the field, and do away with that lucky dog.
And,
you don't give something free away.
Open the pits when the caution car goes on the racetrack. We always pitted. I mean, at Pocono, we prayed for what happened to Jimmy Johnson.
Real quick, even talk about NASCAR spinning this and going to what they have in the Truck Series where you guarantee a finish under green. You don't like that?
No, I don't like that. Let me tell you what. The Truck Series was created, and they had a halftime break. We don't have halftime breaks. We never have. They did the green-white checkered. They wanted to spice up the show. They wanted it to be different. We don't need that here. We can't. Very seldom does the guy leading the race, He ends up winning the race. The guy back mid-pack, he gets crashed.
Yeah, it's not a good situation.
One NASCAR fan cautioned that fans are reacting too much, or they're reacting too much to the fans, comparing it to the Bill Clinton era when he reacted to the polls and was making decisions on that. NASCAR has to be careful they don't fall in that category. All right, caution award that did not apply to Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth. Both drivers fined $25,000, put on probation until August 11th. Instead of playing the Catskills last week, they played a little game of Tag You're It at Pocono.
Uh-oh. Talking about close. Hello.
Kenseth got in the back of Harvick.
Is this happening?
It is.
This is not a highlight film.
No, this is live. Kenseth is just trying to get back into the position he occupied.
I'm getting that spot back.
I told you that car was angry. 29 came across, Kenseth jacked him up. Boy, they were not happy.
Kevin Harvick, part of RCR Racing, joining us live from down on the track. Kevin, thanks for being with us. And, Friday you showed up in Michigan wearing a Matt Kenseth T-shirt. Does that mean that you guys have kind of buried the hatchet?
Well, you have to take everything for what it is, and last week is last week, and we're going to take the T-shirt and we're going to put it on KevinHarvick.com and raffle it off for the Victory Junction. You got to make light of some things. You can't just read your notes all the time like you.
Well, that's actually a nice thing to do. But my notes, I did find this out, that by the time your current punishment ends, you'll have spent 36% of your Cup career so far on probation. I know you're in the top 10 in points. Those notes are good. But does this get in the way, your probation, of your quest for the championship in the points race?
I hope not. I mean, we have to take this week for what it is. We've got a really good car today, and we can't get in the middle of everything and continue it on. So everything has a way of taking itself full circle, and everything will take care of itself eventually.
Hey, rookie, this is DW. I had a philosophy when I raced: don't beat yourself. If you had last Sunday to do all over again, would you do anything differently?
Yes, I'd take the tape and let you guys look at it quite a few times and let you try to find something that was there was no marks on the front of our car. The skid marks on the racetrack were pretty evident as to the way everything was presented, and we presented all that to NASCAR and never really got a 100% explanation of actually why we were being penalized. So we're racing the same car this week. We had to put a new fuel cell in the back of it and a new back bumper on it, but if you go back and really look at those tapes, you can't spin somebody out under caution by being on the left side of and underneath of them while they're spinning out. You gotta turn to the right and hit them pretty good, just like was done to the 29 car last week.
Yeah, well, I wish we had time to study those tapes like you did, but we don't. We just have to call it like we see it, and I'm glad you had a chance to study them, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we put up such a fight and really, went to bat for ourselves. 9 times out of 10 in the past, we've been really wrong and haven't had anything to argue about. But it is what it is, and you got to go on with it, and you got to take it for what it's worth. If you need to worry about it, Daryl, because sometimes it affects us and it affects our fans and it affects everything that we do. So. Sometimes it would be appreciated.
Right,
yeah, well, I hear a lot of cheers.
Yeah. And
a lot of cheers.
Thanks for joining us as you ride around and wave to the fans before the race. Also, keep going the streak, which is the best so far, currently active of 53 consecutive races running. Thanks, Kevin. Good luck, okay?
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much. How about a thought on his chance of winning? Did you see he's in the top 10, the points championship? He hasn't won a race yet this year, but he's still in the hunt.
He's still in the hunt. He just needs to get everything back refocused. I think Richard Childress, who's the owner of this team, has already set these guys down and say, look, this is enough nonsense. We can't fall out of the top 10.
All right, Ryan Newman could fall out of the top 10. In the race last year at Michigan, he was on fire, literally. He emerged from this safe, but his 41st place finish, his only career DNF at Michigan, with another poor Michigan finish. Newman might be out of the top 10, and remember, only the top 10 of those within 400 would qualify.
And the thing is about Ryan Newman, in the last 4 races, he's lost 285 points to the leader. He's got to stop the bleeding, otherwise he's going to be in serious trouble.
Well, the point system, that's the good news and the bad news. You're going to have some guys that are going to fall out of that top 10. They're not going to be running for the championship. And you're going to have some guys out there. You're going to have 10 guys racing for a championship, 33 guys that could give a flip less.
And by the way, Matt Kenseth will be joining us live in just a moment, too. A guy who always scores points, especially on this day, is Dad. And we salute all you champion fathers watching this race at home with your families and your remote. Today, your day to relax and enjoy the sons of Dale Earnhardt, Ned Jarrett, Cuckoo Marlin, Richard Petty, Russ Wallace, Leroy Waltrip, and all the others. And this was one of the father-son breakfasts they had here, one of the events. And what a father provides on the track or over the phone in the stands or whatever cannot be measured in miles per hour. It can, however, be felt in every heartbeat. They even had a father-son Olympics event here. And why do you think, Daryl, this sport, more than any other, really lends itself to a father-son or father-child and where they can continue on?
We're here at Michigan for 4 days, Chris, and you need your family with you. You need your wife beside of you. All of us do. I mean, if I hadn't had the redhead Stevie beside me, I can't tell you how much trouble I'd have gotten in. So it's good to have her here for encouragement. It's good to have your kids here. They accommodate the families, and that's why it works so well.
And the names are on the cars. Fathers are introduced by drivers, their sons, or even drivers introducing their sons that might one day be a driver.
Well, you get an opportunity right there, and you see Russ Wallace and Rusty Wallace's father. The fathers and the dads are what made these guys today, and this is their way of paying them back and saying, I really do appreciate it, Dad. You were there for me. Now I want to share some of my glory with you.
The author, Charles Wadsworth, this is great. He said, by the time a man realizes that maybe his father was right, he usually has a son who thinks he's wrong. Coming up on our pre-race show, we're going to check out 4 drivers and 4 sons, including a member of our Fox family. And as we get ready to watch the drivers go 200 miles per hour, 400 miles here at Michigan. We'll check in on a father-son combination on pit road. Chris Williams and his son Steve working side by side every week for the Tide team.
I don't think you'd ever think you'd be working, with your dad. Of course you want to, but I don't think you'd ever think you'd be doing this. Of course this is a dream to millions of people, including us. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Thank you.
Welcome back in Michigan, 27th straight sellout at this Michigan International Speedway. 3rd largest city in Michigan today and the largest sporting event in the state. Here to see the drivers of NASCAR who take Mother's Day off but celebrate Father's Day with all of us. In spite of all the strange ties and funny socks and greeting cards, this holiday special because it celebrates the gift of life and the bond of family. Stock car racing bonds like no other. Here's a look at 4 racing families.
My son's Matt Martin. He's 12 years old. He races the Fast Truck Series down in Florida in the Fast Kids division. I just let Matt figure it out for the most part. He's real talented, and we're having fun with it. I give Matt advice all the time, not just about racing, but he only takes some of it. He's going to be racing, so he's not going to be able. We're not going to be together on Father's Day, but the time that we spend together is pretty precious to me.
Jimmy's in 28 years old and in the Nextel Cup Series. Jarrett is 25. It's in the Dodge Weekly Series at Hickory Motor Speedway. Jesse's 15 and doing the Bandoleros at Lowe's Motor Speedway on the Tuesday Night Thunder Series. It's all we've ever done, the whole family, and we did it as a family outings, and it was more of something to do on the weekend. It wasn't just something we had to do.
My son Brandon is 13 years old, and he runs in a Bandolero series, which is kind of an exotic go-kart with a body on it. Biggest advice I give Brandon is the fact that you don't have to do this racing. You're not living out Dad's dream. If I had my rathers, I probably would love for him maybe to do something a little different, because even though racing has been awfully good to me, it's a hard life. It comes with a lot of hard knocks. I won 23 races as a crew chief, 2 Daytona 500s. But when I was able to be there and watch him win his first race this past winter, trust me, it probably meant more than any of those wins, maybe even including those 2 500s.
Well, my youngest son, Steven, he's 16 years old right now, and he's racing all through the state of North Carolina, all the short tracks. He's on the UARA circuit right now. My last name with Steven on the racetrack has definitely hurt him. He's took more shots from everybody in the world. They're always wanting to spin Steven out and beat on him or whatever. He's a pretty tough kid, though. Well, the perfect Father's Day gift for me this weekend would probably be a win from Steven. He's racing this week in Lonesome Pine, Virginia, a little short track that I used to race on, and he's got his cronies up there. They're all excited about winning. It'd be cool. The next best thing would be me to win.
And it usually is Dad, obviously, the first one to get you behind the wheel, teach you how to drive. Your father, Leroy, great influence on you and Michael.
Oh, yeah, and he inspired Michael and I both to be successful. He saw me win my Daytona 500. He didn't see Michael win his, and I know Michael's always regretted that.
We talk about how fathers have influences, how great names are. We take a look at Michael. But with the Petty family, for example, I think that when you have a father like Richard and his grandfather, and I'm talking more about Kyle as we take a look at these 2 guys now, it was real tough for Kyle, I think, to deal with the fact that he's trying to live up to his father's reputation. I mean, something very difficult to do, but I think he's found some balance when it comes to the Petty name.
Yeah, and in today's race, Kyle Petty will start from row 17. And no word in the English language that can really describe a parent who has lost a child. But words like selfless and heroic, they do describe Kyle Petty and his family. This week, the Petty's Victory Junction Gang Camp for children with life-threatening diseases and chronic illnesses opened in North Carolina. Paul Newman and Richard Petty among those who attended, along with numerous drivers, Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick. Kyle was emotional. when talking about completing the dream that his late son Adam had started.
This is a group that was Adam's team, okay? And this will always be Adam's team to me. But more importantly, now you guys become Adam's team. All these counselors you see behind here, and you guys and all the campers that come here, I hope they take a little bit of Adam's smile when they leave here, and it's because of this group. This was his original team. He loved these guys. And I want Stephen Pat Savoris to cut the ribbon in honor of Adam's team, and I thank you guys with all my heart. And that'll be the end of it.
Touching and emotional. On Friday, August 20th, we have these pins representing NASCAR Day, and this is something that you can all wear to show support for the Victory Junction Gang Camp. Fans can donate money. All participants get the commemorative pin. Donations can be made by visiting www.nascar.com/NASCAR Day.
Chris, I've never seen the NASCAR family, the community, get behind something the way they did this Victory Junction Gang Camp. One thing I'd suggest, take all those fines that these guys are accumulating all year long and give them to Kyle. Put them in a pot, give them to Kyle. I think it'd be a really great thing to do.
Great suggestion. Of course, Richard Petty is the Grand Marshal for today's race. Roger Mears, proud that his son Casey's crew won the weekly $20,000 prize in the McDonald's drive-through pit championship fueled by Powerade. They had the best time on pit road last week in Pocono. And they're wishing their dad happy for the guy. They're always on their toes. In the overall standings, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team remains in the lead. Chad Myers helping out there. All right, earlier in our show, we heard from one half of the drivers involved in last week's Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick bump and grind. And for the rest of the story, let's go down live on the track where Matt Kenseth in the 17 car joins us live, getting ready to go racing. Matt, thanks for doing this so close to the race. First time you've been on probation. Is this an awkward feeling for you?
Yeah, hopefully it's the first time and hopefully the last time. So certainly not proud of anything that happened or my part of last week's for sure. And I'm going to let that be last week and move on to this week. But the only one thing I do want to say about last week is I've done a lot of dumb things in my racing career, but I've never spun out by myself under yellow. So I think you guys are doing a great job in the booth, calling them like you seen them. Daryl, he's been in his share of pickles with a 17 before, and he knows what's going on there. So, you guys are doing good. I'm ashamed of my part I played in last week, and I'm going to try to be more mature from here on out and handle myself in a more professional manner for my sponsors and my team and all our fans.
Matt, this is Hammond. You talk about your team. I understand you had a meeting with your team. Can something positive come out of what happened at Pocono?
I guess not. Good answer.
No, we just kind of got the guys together because, like I said, I was embarrassed with the part we played in it last week, and you never like to tear up race cars because them guys got to fix them and do the things that we did. So I want to get together with them, and plus we had some other things that we're trying to make our team better all the time, and I'm trying to do a better job. We're trying to get them to do a better job, and just keep everybody pulled together and get everything rolling here again. And we're still in a great position in the points, and we want to be in that top 10. And we want to be able to run for that championship at the end of the year, and that's what's really important.
Hey, Matt, this is 117 to another here. I noticed from the get-go this year, Matt, that at Rockingham, for instance, you were driving with more aggressiveness than I've ever seen you drive before, and you seem to carry that through the whole year. Did that have anything to do with last Sunday?
It might have a little bit. I think it's one of them situations where things build up on you, as you go on. And there's a lot of things that maybe, you don't see on TV or the clips you didn't see on TV that maybe go on, for a while that kind of build up. And sometimes you take so much and sometimes you finally boil over, and that's probably what I did. So I need to probably turn it back down a little bit. I still need to be aggressive and try to get our cars to the front and finish up front, but yet I got to use my head a little bit more than we did last week.
Matt, thanks. And also probably special to have your dad, Roy, there on Father's Day. Wish him a happy Father's Day for us, all right?
Yeah, real quick. I just want to wish my dad a happy Father's Day, which just walked away here, and also say hi to my son Ross. He's not at the race this week, and say hi to my dad's dad, my Grandpa Kenseth, at home. So there's 4 generations.
You got a picture of your dad on TV right now. Thanks, Matt. All right.
All right, thank you.
Take care. Good luck today. We appreciate you joining us live moments before the race down on the track. Now to discuss this track's hot spots, we turn to our own hot shot, Darrell Waltrip.
Folks, drivers love to run this racetrack. It's great, big old wide racetrack, got a lot of room, 75 feet wide through the tri-oval. But 2 things you got to watch out for. Off of turn 2, off of turn 4. When you put that slide job on the guy in front of you, you get down under him, he's coming. He slides right across there and takes your nose off. If you make it, it's a great pass. If you don't, I hear caution. You all right?
All the spots are covered. Last year at Michigan, Kurt Busch won this race, currently 7th in points, and had the 7th fastest car in qualifying for today. Kurt knows all about Lucky Sevens. He's from Las Vegas, so when we asked him to sit down for 5 questions, he wanted to double down. So we went with 10 laps with Kurt Busch. How about Letterman or Leno?
I like Leno. He's into cars. He knows cars.
Blonde or brunette?
Blonde.
How about East Coast or West Coast?
There's good worlds in both. I come from the West, but I do enjoy living in the East Coast.
Republican or Democrat?
I'm a Republican.
Fishing or hunting?
I grew up in the desert. I'm going to have to go with hunting. If I do one or the other.
Hunting for cactus. Rap or rock?
Rock music's cool.
The Beatles or the Stones?
Beatles.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxers, I guess.
Janet Jackson or Madonna?
Britney Spears.
Okay, you can add one. Kurt, the defending champ. All right, we heard from Harvick. We heard from Kenseth real quick. Is at the end of it, you think we'll see some episode today or down the road?
I think it's done right now because they both know that next time they step over the line, it may be the line that trips them up for a few races as far as being maybe parked.
Well, I think Kenseth, he said it best. This is a position I'm not accustomed being in, and I don't think we'll catch him back there. So I'm glad. I think it's over with.
All right, quick story of Casey Mears, who was on Days of Our Life. Casey Kane was in People Magazine's 50 Hottest Bachelors this week. We'll take a look at that as you get a look at the drivers getting ready for the opening ceremonies as we head down trackside here at Michigan International Speedway, getting ready for the running of the DHL 400 here on Father's Day.
And now with our invocation from Jackson Lumen Christi High School, here is Father Jeff Rose.
Almighty God, we thank you for this day, and we ask you to continue to bless us with good weather. We thank you for the opportunity to gather here on Father's Day as we honor our own fathers and all the fathers that are present here today. And as this race begins, we ask you to keep our drivers safe as they compete. May Almighty God bless us all. Through Christ our Lord, amen.
And now please remain standing for our national anthem. Once again, here's Ms. Elizabeth Fornell.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Father's Day in America, pretty good feeling at the Michigan International Speedway. As we get ready to go racing, we want to remind the participants in today's virtual crew chief polls, you're automatically entered to win the chance to be the virtual crew chief of Team Singular at the race July 4th weekend. You'll see that on Fox. Log on to foxsports.com for details on how you can win. Will Jeff Gordon win from the pole? What about Kenseth and Harvick? And will caution and controversy be thrown to the wind? That's all ahead if you stick around on Father's Day on Fox. Welcome to Nextel Cup Racing on Fox from Michigan International Speedway. And tickets have been purchased by fathers from all 50 states on this Father's Day. More than 150,000 people watching. Let's go upstairs. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, couple of dads in the booth, and happy Father's Day to both you guys.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everybody. Happy Father's Day to my dad, watching in Massachusetts as well. Hendrick Motorsports dominated qualifying here at Michigan. It's the first time that Greg Fielden could find in all of NASCAR history where in its premier series, one team has swept the top 3 spots in qualifying. But Larry turned the page to happy hour, and when that ended and through to tomorrow morning, how many teams really feel they've got the right setup for today?
Well, I walked through the garage area this morning and almost talked to 43 different crew chiefs. I maybe could find 2 that was even remotely happy with the race cars. There was a lot of changes going on this morning. And Michigan normally, traditionally, they don't have many cautions to make your car better. And I know one car that was doing an overhaul on their race car this morning was the 48 team of Jimmy Johnson. But to me, one of the most interesting stories I think we're going to watch today is the fact of Casey Kane. He normally always starts up near the front. He's been very dominant at the 1.5 and 2 mile racetracks. Now he's starting at the back of the pack. They wasn't that happy with that car, so it's going to be very interesting to watch him work his way up through the field at tracks like this that he's been so strong.
Casey Kane leads the Nextel Cup Series in Bud Polls 1 this year, but starts far back today. Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each Nextel Cup race. Jeff Gordon is up there with 2 poles this season. There are the drivers that will compete in the Bud Shootout of 05. Let's go trackside.
And now, race fans, please welcome back our Grand Marshal for the day, the King of NASCAR, Richard Petty.
Happy Father's Day. Gentlemen, start your engine.
Fathers of racers, sons of racers, and drivers who are both. Sons of great drivers like that one, and the father of an up-and-coming one. Let's go to Dick Bergman.
Well, Jeff Gordon starts on the pole for the 4th time here at Michigan International Speedway, but he doesn't just qualify well, he races well too. He has won twice here and finished second 5 times. 7 times he has finished first or second in 22 starts here. That's about a third of his starts. The car, however, is not as good as it might be in race trim. The crew is going to have to work on it a little bit to get it to the point that it's going to be the fastest car on the racetrack. Steve?
Well, Dick, Casey Kane's got a lot of publicity, but not to be overlooked is the other Casey, Casey Mears. His improvement from last year, dramatic. This time a year ago, he was 36th in points. This year, he's 16th with 6 top 10 finishes. More importantly, his crew chief, Jimmy Elledge, says they have confidence, they have trust in each other, and they're having fun at the racetrack. Casey Mears will start 9th today, Matt Yoakum.
Steve, the other Casey Kane that you mentioned, is glad that we're racing in Michigan with those big, wide, sweeping corners versus maybe at Martinsville, a very tight racetrack, very one-groove racetrack. Casey will start, like Larry Mack mentioned, back deep in the field, 34th. 3 times this year, he has finished second, still chasing his first series win. Crew Chief Tom Baldwin Jr. told me they've dialed that race car in very strong in the final practice session, 6 quick. They're trying to become one of the 5th different team to win starting 20th or worse here at Michigan. Mike?
Thanks, Matt. We're set to go racing here just west of Motown. Now let's go to the home of Fox Sports in Hollywood for this special report.
Hello, NASCAR fans. I'm Jeannie Zelasco here in LA with the latest episode of As the Wheel Turns. Today's race is live from Michigan International Speedway. LA and Detroit. While the Pistons are dancing in the streets of Detroit, NASCAR will be driving in the streets of Motown. 2 weeks ago in Dover, it was a slippery slope suspense.
Oh, there's oil on the racetrack. Oh my gosh. How close can you come to your first win?
The biggest oil crisis since the 70s. And then, last week, back and forth they went, even as DW warned them about anger management.
You have to control your anger.
Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth didn't listen to DW.
You don't reckon Harvick and he got together, do you?
Definitely got help.
Is this real? Is this happening?
So let's get ready to race as the wheel turns again and again on Fox.
University of Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor seats only 107,000 people. This great racing stadium just outside Jackson, Michigan at Cambridge Junction will have 137,000 fans in the seats. The 27th straight sellout for a cup race at Michigan. Our starting lineup scrolls by at the bottom of the screen as Darrell Waltrip joins us up here in the NASCAR on Fox booth. This track is so wide, and you could run 4 wide, 5 wide here. I guess there are places you could even go 6 wide. But do you run and race the other drivers here, Darrell, or do you race this racetrack all day?
Well, we'll count and see how wide they can get, because they're going to test it, I guarantee you. But here, horsepower is king, aero is king, handling is king, and fuel mileage is really, really big. Those all come into play today.
Yeah, I mean, there are no guarantees in racing. Trust me. Believe me when I tell you that. But one thing I think I can guarantee you, before this day is over, there will be some nail biting on pit road. Do we have enough fuel or do we not?
Do you run this race forward to back, or do you run it from the checkered flag and start clicking off your fuel stops backward?
It's the way you have to do it. You start at 200 laps. If you can run 45 laps, you know that last pit stop has to come at 155. The next to the last one has to come at 110. That's the way you have to run this race. And it's very borderline. Can some of these teams do it on 3 stops?
Darrell, the weather is up here, and you look at the cloud cover. It's variable. Right now, turns 1 and 2 are in shade. Turns 3 and 4 are in sun. Do you have to drive them differently because of that?
Well, I don't know that you drive them differently, but your car will feel differently in that the hotter the track gets, the more the car will slide. You'll see guys running right up next to the outside wall here as the race goes on.
Shade on the right, sun on the left, and those clouds move through here quickly, so the weather will change quite a bit throughout the day.
And you just don't have many opportunities to adjust on that car, as we mentioned earlier, because we normally don't get many cautions here.
Yeah, and you might run low in 1 and 2, and you might run right out next to the wall, almost touching it in 3 and 4. But don't forget, safer barriers have taken away a little of the racetrack.
And yesterday in final practice, we saw 3 cars scrape the wall because they just ran out of racetrack. Everybody getting settled in to go 400 miles today at Michigan. That's 200 laps.
There you see it, pit road speed, 55 miles per hour. That pit window right there, this is what we were talking about just a while ago, 45 to 50 laps. Some teams very borderline, a 200-lap race. Can they do it on 3 stops? And the last red flag lap, 4 to go, lap 196.
A little bit of a question on left side tires. They're a lot softer than they've had here in the past.
Several drivers will move to the back. Tony Stewart changed, or rather Terry Labonte and Jeffrey Bodine changed engines. Dave Blaney is in a backup car. And in something I've not heard before, Tony Stewart made the roll call for the drivers' meeting, but left before it was concluded and was sent to the back.
Would that be a lot like not slowing down when the caution came out?
Could well be.
Something like that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Tony qualified back in the 27th position, so he's going to give up about 15 positions by going. And he was definitely one of the cars we watched yesterday in final practice. Didn't run that fast lap, but that car was right around the bottom of this racetrack.
Oh, yeah. I guarantee you, the starting in the rear won't hurt him. He won from way back there.
Traditionally, this has been a Ford racetrack, although all makes have done well and won here. The pressure to win is probably no greater, the external pressure, than it is right here, so close to Detroit and so important to the 3 automakers that put so much money and engineering effort into this sport. At a gathering of Dodge drivers Friday night, Dieter Zetsche, the CEO of Daimler Chrysler Corporation, said, "We would really like to see one of you in victory lane on Sunday."
Well, I know winning here in 91 and 92 with the 28 car Davey Allison, neat having Edsel Ford stand beside me holding that trophy up, and you could tell it meant a lot to him as well.
For the first time ever in NASCAR history that we could find through all of Greg Fielden's research, one team has put 3 cars in the first 3 positions. DePaulo's team never did it. Kike for the great Chrysler 300s never did it. No single team has done what Hendrick Motorsports has done here this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I know of teams that obviously have won the front row, but I don't know of any that's ever done all 3.
And I'm not real sure about Brian Vickers in the 25 car, but I know that 24 car, Jeff Gordon, Robbie Loomis, they really chased that race car in final practice yesterday. This is the car that he won Fontana with, but it's also the car he qualified well at Lowe's Motor Speedway, but struggled 8 laps down in the Coca-Cola 600.
So did you bring your best car or your worst car to Michigan? Yes.
We will know a little later. Oh, look at that, guys.
How about that?
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Yep. And a lot of proud Pistons fans around Detroit here. Saw a sign said Fox rocks. So we'll turn it up and time to get this show on the road.
DW, next time by off into turn 1, over 200 miles per hour. Reach up there and pull them belts tight one more time.
Here they come, boys. Green flags out. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Mark Martin in trouble.
Whoa. I mean, he's in big trouble. He's not even going.
Never got up to speed in the 6 car.
He's down on the apron. He's got serious problems.
Boy, that spread the field out behind him. They are 3 wide, exiting turn 2. Robbie Gordon
got
around.
trouble. Robbie Gordon in the 31 car, right in front of the field.
Oh, man, is anybody else going to get in it? They're going everywhere back there.
Remember, he started in the 5th position. The caution is out. Can you believe I don't think anyone ever touched him?
You mean after he spun out?
After he spun out.
Larry, he was in really tight quarters exiting turn 2 with cars all around him.
Now this, right where he got in trouble, is a crossover gate. And sometime when they start these races, there's a lot of really just the dirt on the racetrack.
He didn't hurt the car.
I think he may have hurt it.
Not badly. Not what you might expect. Now here's Mark Martin.
He just takes off, and then something happens to that bad boy.
Jeff Burton almost runs him over.
Yeah, it just lays down. I don't know if he broke a transmission or engine or what, but something's seriously wrong.
Right now, he's over in the apron at turn 3.
Let's see what happened here. Comes off the corner. Ooh, he ran into the back of Brendan Gaughan, and I believe that was Jeremy.
Might also bounced off of Matt Kenseth.
It definitely has some damage to that left front.
Let's see if we can see, get a little bit better look here from the in car. There's Brendan up on the outside. Comes off, pushes up. Oh, something happened to Brendan.
Sound like Brendan had to get completely out of the throttle.
You get tight off that corner over there. He had to lift out of the gas a little bit. Man, I can't tell. That is, from a driver, Robbie Gordon, unexpected.
Brendan had to lift to keep from getting into the safer variant.
Yeah. Goodness, just that quickly at 190 miles an hour. That's when you're going, woo!
Steve Burns, what's happened to Mark?
Mark Martin said 3 words, Mike Joy. Transmission is broke. They're going to send that number 6 car to the garage and try and change the transmission and get back in this race.
And when you look at the last 4 weeks of Mark Martin in this 6 car, remember he had a great car at Charlotte and had the ignition box problem. He won Dover. He had the engine failure last week, and I know they had an awfully good race car this week.
Kurt Busch with right side damage. Brendan Gaughan with rear end damage. Gaughan lifted coming out of turn 2. Robbie Gordon, the orange car, got into him. First caution of the day comes out. Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by DHL. Finally, a new choice in domestic shipping. DHL, we move the world. By Chevy, the winningest name in racing, an American revolution. By the new Mr. Clean Auto Dry Car Wash. Never dry your car again. And by the Home Depot, the official home improvement warehouse of NASCAR. Three laps complete, coming around to complete lap 4, and they'll get the green flag this time to restart.
Green flag.
Now they stay up next to the wall here as tight as you can because you don't want anybody passing you on that right side, which is legal. Saw a couple of borderline calls last night over to the Busch race. Might say this is a reset. Let's try it again.
It's just single instead of double file. Greg Biffle, Casey Mears. 8th place.
And Biffle started way back in 13th position, so he's definitely been on the move since the drop of the green flag.
Pit stops under caution included Tony Stewart, Terry Labonte, and Dave Blaney to top off, and they're trying to work their way back up through.
Just buying a few extra laps should we stay green.
I don't believe there's a driver out there that I think excites me more to watch than Greg Biffle. I mean, he is on the gas. When they drop that green flag, he is relentless.
Practice, it don't matter.
Always been that way. Trucks, Busch, Cup.
Oh, 3 wide, a big sandwich middle of the pack coming out of turn 2, and it's getting real dicey back there about 10th place. Look at this, Junior on the outside of Ward Burton trying to get past Nemechek.
Ward Burton had a really good car in happy hour, so it doesn't surprise me to see him moving up. Seemed like he was pretty good in both sessions yesterday.
Really happy with his car. Started in 14th, and he's up there in about the 11th or 10th position right now.
Let's have another look back there at what happened exiting turn 2. Brendan Gaughan trying not to get into the wall. Robbie Gordon gets into Kurt Busch and may have had a tap from Jeremy Mayfield as well.
Robbie was just going to get in behind Brendan right there, try to, didn't want to lose any spots, and Brendan lifted just enough that Robbie could hit him in the back end. Golly, that's a lot of damage on the 77.
Dick Berggren?
Harold, the description you two guys have just given of what happened to Robbie Gordon exactly matches the description he gave the crew. Both front corners of Gordon's car are damaged. They've got these pieces ready to put back on the car when he can make a pit stop. His team owner, Richard Childress, has urged him simply stay on the lead lap, do the best that you can. He has started 5th, his best qualifying effort of the year.
Second place side by side. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Mike, Brendan Gaughan started 6th, but after that incident with Robbie Gordon, all the way back in 39th, he came to pit road. The good news for Brendan Gaughan is the sheet metal on the left rear quarter panel is not rubbing on the left rear tire, but there is sheet metal damage to that quarter panel.
And Mike, you think back to just a few races ago, Brendan had a great run at Charlotte, qualified up in the front, crashed in practice. Robbie had a great run going, a good qualifying effort at Richmond, had a flat tire on the first lap. So these guys, they want to get off to a good start, but they haven't happened yet.
Larry?
And I know the 31 team has good thoughts of preparation to fix that race car. The problem is, though, right now, he's almost about 5 seconds off the speeds that our leader's running because of the aero of that car. They need a caution, and they need it quick.
Not any fun. Just keep doing the best you can.
Michigan Speedway is taking on the look of Rocket World. Here comes Ryan. He has passed Brian Vickers. He is coming toward Jeff Gordon as teammates battle for 3rd, Jimmy Johnson, and the 25 of Busch Series champ Brian Vickers.
Larry and I were laughing, Mike, about last year we were standing up here and say, you believe they're turning these motors 9,200 RPM? Guess what they're turning them today?
About 9,800.
1 year later, right at 10 grand.
Wow. Matt?
Brian Vickers, his car was a little free in the final practice session, but Peter Suspendo's crew chief felt like it would tighten up as the day goes on. But he just asked his spotter, Brian Vickers, asked Ricky Hendrick, where are they beating me as cars start to pass the 25? He says, on exit right now is where we really need to work on that race car.
I know when I watch that 19 car, Jeremy Mayfield, we just saw right there as we're watching Kevin Harvick in this pack right here racing for 15th position. If you believe what a driver was telling you, Jeremy Mayfield, he's the guy to beat here today. Very confident about his race car.
Looking at Harvick's out his rear view mirror would be this view of the 38 Elliott Sadler, Ricky Craven. And there's Matt Kenseth carrying that black car right in the center of your screen. New colors for Kenseth this week.
I think it's called Carhartt, and it's they make work clothes. Company been around for about 110 years.
Real big in Western stores. They're an associate sponsor usually. They picked up the primary role for this race for the defending Cup champion.
Tell you what, the car right behind him, Ricky Craven, that 32 car, he looks like he has the makings of a good run here today. He qualified back in the 26th position. And when you look at a race car that needs a good finish, I mean, his best finish this year is 16th, but looks pretty good here today.
Had a good run going here a year ago.
That is beautiful to watch up there, bud. That is beautiful. Clear by 3, clear by 3. 29's on the bottom also.
I mean, look at 3 distinct different grooves. Kenseth on the bottom, Elliott Sadler in the middle, Ricky Craven in the 32 at the top of the racetrack. That's what's great about this place.
And Michael and I were talking about this last night. You don't go up to the top because you necessarily want to. You go where your car tells you to go. Car says stay low, you stay low. Car says I can't stay low, I got to run high, you go high. Car will talk to you if you'll listen.
Jimmy Johnson's is talking to him. The low Chevy coming back to the front and repassing Ryan Newman for second.
But you know, this is the way he was in happy hour yesterday. I talked to Chad Canals, his crew chief, this morning. They didn't know if it was because of low air pressure or what. They couldn't run that fast lap quick, but they were good on long runs, and this is that race car. He led 500 of 600 miles in the Coca-Cola 600 at Lowe's.
And Robbie Gordon drops a lap to race leader Jeff Gordon after that lap 1 crash with Brendan Gaughan. 13 laps, 26 miles complete in the DHL 400. "17 laps complete at Michigan. Chevy started in the front 3 spots today, and they own the front 3 spots in the Nextel Cup point standings right now. Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, 1, 2, 3. Last week's bad boys right together on the racetrack. Do they have a magnetic attraction? I mean, Darrell, if you had a long-running feud with 1 or 2 or a couple of drivers in your career, did you find when that was going on, you guys just seemed to have a magnetic attraction on the racetrack?
Yeah, and most of the time you created it. You kind of went looking for that guy just to let him know, hey, I'm still out here, and don't forget about me. And knowing Harvick the way I do, he likes to have fun. He had on Kenseth's T-shirt when he got ready to qualify the other day. So he's going to play with Kenseth a little bit. I think everything's cool with them 2 guys, though.
I think so. And I think that was just a great gesture to show that, hey, I'm not going to take this too seriously, as Mark Martin comes back in the race with a new transmission. And auctioning that shirt off for Victory Junction Gang Camp is another great move on Kevin Harvick's part. Matt Kenseth said for his part, he said, well, he said, we need those T-shirt sales to help pay the fine.
Matt Kenseth in the 17 had to roll out of the throttle because he ran up on Dale Earnhardt Jr. in an 8 car. Kevin Harvick takes advantage. These guys right now are battling for about the 11th position.
Kenseth hasn't given up on it. There's 3 lanes here easily.
Yeah, and you know, Harvick's got a little damage. See that left corner of the car sticking out there behind the rear tire? Looks like he got into some of that maybe mix up over on the back.
And that could probably hurt his straightaway speed, like a parachute hanging out there.
Matt Yoakum on our points leader.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes into Michigan leading the points. Mike, like you mentioned, he is moving around the racetrack trying to find a line that his race car likes. Currently, it is sliding the nose tight. Driver 8 at the moment.
If that was my car, the line I'd like would be away from Harvick and Kenseth.
But Darrell, you talked about it. You run where your car feels the best at, whether it's at the top, whether it's at the bottom or in the middle, maybe different at each end.
Yeah, and then that's what the driver's job is. Talk to the crew chief, say, slide the nose, got to fix that.
And another thing that driver will depend on, especially as this field gets spread out, that crew chief giving him lap times where the car's running the quickest.
Here's our Singular Wireless virtual crew chief question. Vote now from your Singular Wireless phone. Send text message FOX to phone number 191 or visit foxsports.com to vote online and stay tuned for the results. That's kind of like which lane do you want to be in at the toll booth? Whichever one's moving fastest.
That's right. Well, you search around right now. You just, uh-oh, is that Newman coming on pit road?
Looks
yes,
like
it is. Ryan Newman here at lap 22.
That doesn't, that's not scheduled.
He was running in the top 5. No, this is about half of a fuel stop right here.
He was sliding back a little bit. See if I can see anything here.
And there's a lot of track, bottom left opening, 12 left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I believe he was running warm. You heard him talk about trash on the grill. It sounds like maybe those grills got blocked and the water temperature was starting to go up.
Dick.
Well, he doesn't have an awful lot of grill open in this race car. The entire top of the grill is completely taped off. They've just pulled tape off the bottom of the grill to try to feed more air into the radiator.
You know, Dick, DW, Mike, we've been talking about that all year. These guys get so aggressive with the tape on the nose to help the drag on the straightaways and the downforce. You leave no margin of error for trash getting on the front end.
Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon has opened back up a big lead, 2.7 seconds over his teammate Jimmy Johnson. The other Hendrick car, Brian Vickers, has moved back up into 3rd. Dick?
Well, Jeff Gordon, Mike, had a real tough time in race trim in practice. There were 2 practices in race trim, and he was 22nd and 26th respectively. So the crew wasn't entirely sure they had this car right. So far, so good. The only complaint he's had about the car is it's a little bit loose. He's already called for the change he wants. Next time he comes in, which will be the first time he comes in, he wants it to drop the track bar.
Thanks, Dick.
We talked about Ryan Newman. If you look right here, this is the only opening that he has right there. And if you see right there, you see the trash blocking it. So he only has that right there to cool it. Water temperature was going up, had to come to pit road under green.
Those holes at the bottom down here, those are the most effective holes as far as getting air into the radiator because that's where the most pressure is. Stop one of those up, you've cut down most of your airflow.
You want to turn 9,800 RPM all day here. That's going to generate a lot of heat.
You better believe it.
Well, these cars now have, Larry, a pressurized cooling system, and they can run hotter than they've ever been able to run before because you don't blow the water out of the radiator like we used to do.
But there's a point where that water temperature gets about 235, 240. It starts to hurt the power. Ryan Newman is now one of those cars. He's 1 lap down back in 40th. He needs this thing to cycle through those green flag stops here in about 20 laps.
Or he needs to stay the first car 1 lap down to get the free pass. That's next caution comes out now. Jeremy Mayfield running 4th, the first Dodge in the race. Newman on fresh tires, rockets on by.
Boy, Michael, I just now realized Michael's running up there in 5th place, right behind Jeremy. He's looking pretty good today.
Looks like to me, guys, Robbie Gordon, the 31, just couldn't hang on to that thing any longer. He now has taken it to the garage area for repairs. You see him right here pulling in.
Robbie Gordon goes to the garage. Mark Martin returned to the race after losing 18 laps for transmission trouble. Jeff Gordon now, it's kind of stabilized, Matt. 2.5 seconds is his lead over his teammate Jimmie Johnson.
And he's got about a 3-second lead over his other teammate Brian Vickers, who's back in 3rd. Earlier in the race, Jimmy told crew chief Chad Knaus the car was tight from the center off, but it was getting better, especially on throttle. Now he says it's leveled off, and now it's starting to go back to the tight side. This team comes into Michigan with a lot of momentum. 2 wins, 2 second-place finishes in the last 5 races, but they really feel like, although they're on a big wave of momentum, they've hit their stride. They want to continue that, especially going into the road course next week and then Daytona the week after, a couple unknowns.
Yeah, pretty common characteristics of Michigan. We're getting through this cycle of a fuel run. You start burning that fuel off, gaining front percentage, it's going to start pushing more and more.
This racetrack ever stay the same for 2 laps in a row?
Depends on where you're running.
Welcome back to DHL 400. Jeff Gordon from the pole has led. We've had 1 caution so far. Jimmie Johnson, Hendrick teammate, right behind him. Brian Vickers also there. And let's go back upstairs and join Mike Larry there.
Thanks, Chris. Jeff Gordon's lead has shrunk to 2 seconds over Jimmie Johnson. That's half a second left than when we went to break. Johnson maintains 3.3 seconds over Brian Vickers as caution comes out. Lap 34 is the second caution of the day.
And Mike, I don't think that's good news for Ryan Newman. You talked about him working to become the first car a lap down. There you see the debris right there. Problem is Jeff Gordon starting to lap cars. He just had lapped Kevin LePage, so it appears possibly the 51 car may be the free pass car.
And you see the caution car down on the apron and how Jeff Gordon has slowed down waiting on the caution car. That's what didn't happen last Sunday. Jimmie Johnson went by the pace car, and the pace car started after him and then stopped, which normally they chase him down. Like you see there, he's in the middle of the back straightaway when he catches up.
Let's see where that came from. Right in the middle of your screen.
Looks like it landed back there on the. Is that
there it goes.
Oh, there. No, there it is. There it is. Yeah, there.
Well,
that's got a look. Got the look of a spring rubber. I don't know if it is or not.
Came from the area where Joe Nemechek, the 01. That's definitely not a spring rubber.
I thought it came out of the right side of the car. Now, for you theorists, there are windows all across the right side of the car. Nobody could toss anything out of the car.
No, that's a piece of rubber from somewhere.
Chris Myers.
All right, thanks, guys. Richard Petty, the King, is with us, just named Father of the Year, the group charity benefiting prostate cancer. His son, Kyle, there. Of course, you saw in the pre-race show, and there they are on stage today. Richard, the Grand Marshal, happy about the Grand Junction camp opening and the memory of Adam and his great dream. Thanks for joining us here in the Hollywood Hotel. Happy Father's Day to you.
Glad to be with you.
All right,
all the fathers.
All the fathers. And you, Jeff was just saying, you sleep with those shades on, right? They never come off.
Almost, okay.
And August 20th, NASCAR Day, as we mentioned, these commemorative pins that we have, you can make a donation for $5 and you get to wear the pin and be part of the celebration. So here on the house, we'll write this off on expenses. But there you go.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Ready
It goes for a good cause. It works that easy. And if you want to, go to www.nascar.com/NASCAR Day, and you see it right there. Or call 866-305-4703 and help a good cause.
And Richard, we were kind of talking off the air. You've been around the sport a long time, and this is pretty impressive that NASCAR getting behind the Victory Junction Gang Camp like they have, and it's really benefited everything as far as this project.
Yeah, it really has. NASCAR got behind it, all the drivers got behind it, all the fans got behind it, all the sponsors got behind it, and it's opening up today on Father's Day. So from Kyle's standpoint, Father's Day, we did it for Adam, and it couldn't be a better time to start it.
And we look forward to a few of your thoughts and observations throughout the race and your thoughts on NASCAR today, but we're going into the pit stops. So let's go back upstairs. Mike?
All right, this caution flag will be the second of the day, but the first that will bring the field to pit road. Jeff Gordon's lead of 2 seconds is erased as everybody's lined up behind the safety car, and lead lap cars will pit first. Here's Matt.
DeLowe's team waiting for Jimmy Johnson to pull into his stall for his first stop of the day. We noted earlier he was complaining the car was tight. They're talking about making a track bar adjustment, going up one round, also making an air pressure adjustment and a wedge adjustment. You can see both wrenches in the back window of the race car. The adjustments completed chassis-wise as they come around to the left side. In the triple, the 24, 25, and the 19, Brian Vickers, his car was loose, unlike the other 2 Hendrick cars. Steve?
Matt, Jeremy Mayfield says his car is pushing and pushing on throttle. They're going to add a little air pressure in the right rear tire and take out some wedge. Dick?
Well, of the 3 cars, I think Jeff Gordon's is probably the best. He's just got a little bit of point, or a little bit of loose. They're going to try to tighten it up a little bit so he gets rid of that. And Gordon is going to be the first man off pit road. The crew got the job done down here.
Gordon, Michael Waltrip, Brian Vickers, Jimmy Johnson. Michael's come from 19th and was 4th at the caution flag and now picks up 2 more spots.
Car's got that Charlotte look to it.
I tell you, he had a good pit stop. Michael McSwain in that 18 car, Bob Labonte, he came in 6th, went out 2nd. Jimmy Johnson's pitted in that pit box all the way at the entrance of pit road. It's a disadvantage with this many cars on the lead lap. Trust me, late in the race, it will be an advantage.
Robbie Loomis-led crew finishes up, sees their car go out first from the final spot on pit road, and gets to celebrate a bit. NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser. It's time for a fresh one. Grab a Budweiser. The race is on. Jimmy Johnson had a little exchange with Chad Knaus. There are benefits to picking the first pit stall, and there are pitfalls.
I can't believe that bump coming into the pit stall.
All right, boys, it's all right. Shake it off here.
I'll show you what he meant.
Yeah, we had talked about him making that very first pit selection. There you see it right there, the transition where it goes from asphalt to concrete is a little bit of a bump right there. Matt Yoakum.
Larry Mack, it's more like a speed bump. Maybe in your subdivision of homes, it's slow traffic going down maybe like a main trail. It has risen up a little bit. And remember, Michigan does get severe winters, and they do have issues sometimes with the racetrack cracking and the racetrack moving around a little bit as we're getting ready for green.
Good thing is he knows it's there now.
Pace car dives in. Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, Michael Waltrip, Brian Vickers.
It's such an aggressive shock package that you run here. A bump like that will really be noticeable to the driver.
See Mark Martin right there in the 6 car behind Ryan Newman. Remember, he's back out there after changing that transmission in 42nd, 18 laps down. Robbie Gordon as well is back out there 13 laps down.
And just prior to the caution flag coming out, Jeff Gordon lapped Kevin LePage. So LePage was the first car 1 lap down and got the free pass. That's why Newman and Mark Martin, who's 18 laps down, lined up on the inside. Ryan will have to work again to get back on the lead lap.
You know, a guy that continues to have problems, Greg Biffle had a good qualifying run in the 16 car. When we got 1 to go, he was on pit road with the hood up, but he is back out there. But right now he's in 36th position. See Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, we're riding with him, pushing Jamie McMurray in the 42. This is a battle for 11th. You can see, happy Father's Day. Thanks, Dad, right there on that rear bumper.
Casey Mears slid up and almost got the wall in 1, gathered it in, and goes right back after Kevin Harvick. That is at about 8th place. More on Mears. Here's Steve.
Mike Casey Mears has been battling a tight race car on that last pit stop. They took 1 pound out of both front tires and 1 pound out of the left rear tire. He's also been adjusting his line around the racetrack.
And of course, taking air out of those front tires and out of the left rear just softens the spring rate of those tires and just helps the car to get better grip, especially in the front end. You see Rusty Wallace and the 2 go by him. This is a battle for 7th position right now.
Sometimes the crew will make an air pressure adjustment, and it'll catch the driver off guard there because the car will be so different till the pressures come up.
2 big packs. This is the 3rd. Look at Jeff Burton in that unsponsored white number 99 thread the needle and try to bring Nemechek with him.
And right there is where you have to be so careful with 3 wide. You remember DW's hot spot. You just run out of racetrack on the exit of these corners.
Yeah, you're carrying so much speed when you come out of the corner. You're back on the throttle way over in the middle of the turn, carry a lot of speed, run out of racetrack.
Riding with Tony Stewart, who's at 25th.
And the draft, I mean, you do feel the draft here. That's why everybody tries to tuck back in line as soon as possible to kind of get a little pull down the straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, the speeds here are about 10 miles per hour faster than they are at Daytona and Talladega getting off in the corner.
Boy, Casey Mears almost got squeezed up into the wall by Brian Vickers. He had to lift out of it and then dropped low under 2 cars and then back in the draft behind Mayfield.
Yeah, I don't think he was real happy about that. Vickers slid up in front of him and blocked him.
Guys have been watching the 97 car, Kurt Busch. I know he's had problems early on in that first accident, struggled a little bit back in the pack, but he's been making steady gains over the last 20 laps. He's now up to 13th.
He and Sterling Marlin battle side by side. Busch trying to pass Marlin for 12th.
Yeah, I think what happens there is you get a caution, you get to assess the damage, make some repairs, and we know he runs good here, so that's good to see the guy's car fixed. Got it running better.
Tell you what, there's a car that we've been watching. Those guys had a great pit stop as well. Michael Waltrip in the 15 car just a couple laps ago. He drove by Bobby Labonte. He's up in the 2nd position now.
And he got a nice assist yesterday here. He had to go run the Busch race last night, so for the Motor Racing Outreach Father's Day Olympics, Brendan Gaughan was the substitute dad for Michael, so Macy could compete.
Looks like Casey Mears is going to be coming to pit road.
Yeah, he's got
a flat right front, it looks like.
Might be a right rear, I can't really tell.
Saw a lot of sparks out from underneath the right front. He was in the 10th position.
It might be a right front.
Steve?
It's definitely a tire. He thinks that he's blown one of them, but he's not sure which one, Mike. They're headed to pit road.
A lot of sparks there. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson back toward the front, taking 3rd from Bobby Labonte.
And I think the 48 car, we watched it at the beginning of the race once we got into a green run. His car is just so good on the long run. He needs these long green runs.
Casey Mears has tires and returns to the race. He's going to lose a lap in the process.
41 didn't make contact. You know, we were talking about him and Vickers and them up there a while ago. You don't reckon he made contact? Cut a tire down. I didn't see it. No.
Now, Dale Jr. and Jeff Burton have been passing a lot of cars. They had been working together, and now they get split apart a bit as Burton is about 4 spots closer to the front and way higher on the racetrack as Junior runs the bottom. There's Burton, left side of your screen, in the white car.
I don't think they quite have that Budweiser car just where they want it right now. He's back there in 17th position. Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to lose positions.
Michael sort of chased that 48 car at Charlotte a couple of weeks ago all day long. Here comes the 41 back to pit road. Whatever's wrong is they didn't get fixed.
Now, we just watched Dale Earnhardt Jr. be able to go by Kurt Busch in the 97. The difference was now Kurt looks like he's going to go back by him, but Kurt had to get out of the throttle on the exit of turn 4. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was able to stay in it.
Matt Kenseth just ahead of them. Elliott Sadler as well. Jeff Hammond.
Watching the 41 car, when I noticed when he came down pit road and subsequently before he came to pit road, there's something broke on the front suspension of that car. Noticing the way it was kind of hitting the racetrack. And when he came down pit road, all 4 tires were up. He's got something that's loose or broke on the suspension. Possibly a sway bar arm or something like that, the way the car was rolling over.
Yeah, Jeff, when he came to pit road, his sparks were all coming out of the right front, like it had a right front tire down.
Tell you what, Rusty Wallace in this 2 car, the Miller Lite car, he keeps getting stronger and stronger. He's up here battling Matt Kenseth in the 17 for the 5th position. This is that old car he was so good with at Bristol.
They just swept past Bobby Labonte.
Yeah, and Kevin Harvick in the 29 is going to pull right up behind Bobby Labonte as well. Looks like something may be happening to Bobby Labonte in the 18 car. He loses another position.
Bobby's one of those kind of guys, Larry, that if it's not exactly right, he'll kind of let you go by and then fall in there where he's by himself.
Dick Berggren, anything wrong with the 18?
Oh, no, just listen to Darrell. He'll tell you what's going on. The car's a little bit loose. That's all. You got it again, Darrell.
No need to push the envelope this early.
No, long way to go.
All right, Steve Burns can update us on Casey Mears.
And Mike, they think it's a broken sway bar. They went back onto the racetrack after making another visit to pit road. Casey said, I can't even push the throttle halfway. They've just brought some spare parts from the garage area. They're going to try and fix it here on pit road. And they think it's a broken sway bar.
Let's show you where this all started for Casey Mears. There he is just ahead of Kevin Harvick.
That's when it happened there.
Look how much he got the wheels turned to the left, car going up the track.
DW, we saw this with Dave Blaney at Pocono last week. These guys are getting so big with the front sway bar, I think the parts that hooks it up just is not strong enough.
I swear, Larry, it looks more like a shock's broken the way the car was bouncing and rolling around, but we'll wait and see. They run a chain sometime on the left side of the sway bar. Could have broken the chain link.
That's what Blaney broke at Pocono.
Racing still good here. Nemechek, Busch, Earnhardt Jr. and Vickers. Matt?
Dale Jr. just moved to the 16th position. We told you earlier his issues mainly were the sliding of the nose. But then late in the run, it got severely tight in the center of the corner. They made an air pressure adjustment and wedge adjustment. Jr. says now it is loose in, tight, tight, tight in the middle, and loose on exit.
Mike, Larry, I know they've been getting good finishes. I know they're leading the point standings, but they cannot be happy with their performance of that car over the last 2 or 3 weeks. They have been lucky more than they've been good.
Very lucky.
Ryan Newman was coming toward Jeff Gordon, but now Michael Waltrip has passed him. Newman unable to get back on the lead lap.
And you'll run out of luck if you go that bank often enough.
He just needs a caution, though.
Welcome back here in Michigan on Father's Day. Jeff Gordon from the pole. 15 of his Cup wins have come from the pole. He's led all the way so far through 55 laps in these aerial views courtesy of Quaker State. Nice to have you with us on Fox from Michigan International Speedway and from the Hollywood Hotel with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, and the King, Richard Petty. Watching the race with us and watching so far a dominating performance from a guy like Jeff Gordon. Your thoughts on him and the success he's had in Michigan?
Well, he got serious. They threw that flag and he said, "See you guys." And so far he's superior with the deal. And so like Jimmy Johnson was last week. And you just hit those deals. Jeff missed it last week. But he's got it all together right now. But it's a long, long way to go. This Michigan track usually runs along and you just go and go and. It just happens, and then all of a sudden right at the end of the race, everything just changes, so the complexity of the race will change somewhere down the line.
Last 2 races, we've had a lot of controversy, a number of cautions. NASCAR has apologized. Any thoughts on which direction you think they should go to correct the problem?
Well, you know, it's really hard to say. As time progressed over years, you have good weeks and bad weeks, and you have good months and bad months. Right now, they just got caught with 2 bad ones together, but they'll overcome it. They'll figure out a little bit better way.
I've been watching the scoring monitor. I've seen several times. You've gone over and taken a look at it. We saw Jamie McMurray right now go by the 29 car of Kevin Harvick, stick his hand out and say, hey, man, appreciate the little bit of room you gave me. But I've also been watching the 45 car of Kyle Petty. He's been making his way quietly up there. He's up to 21st right now, just past his teammate Jeff Green, and been trying to hold off Scott Wimmer, but looks like he's running pretty good today.
Well, I told him he's going to have to get with action today. We got it painted Petty blue, and he even got my name on the side of the thing.
He better take care of it then, didn't he?
I never ran my name on the side of the car, but he's got it on there, so I told him he better get with action.
Right there, sitting there watching Petty Blue right there. It really looks good on the racetrack. I know when I was growing up as a kid, man, that's the only thing I knew to pull for was that 43 and that Petty Blue. I knew who was driving it.
You got that, man.
What your thoughts on Father's Day and why such a bond in the sport of NASCAR? Obviously, coming from a 3 generation with Lee Petty and, of course, your son, Kyle.
Well, you know, my dad started it all. He was at the very first race, and I was there with him. And then, you know, I came along and did my thing. Kyle came along and did his thing. We had Adam sort of doing his thing, and we lost him. But, you know, it's just, and you look at the Jarretts and, you know, all the different Pearsons and Allisons.
Dale Jarrett,
it was just a family affair. And NASCAR is still a family affair. You still see it all around. You see it in the garage area. And so, you know, that's where we started from.
It's nice to have you celebrate with us and being the Grand Marshal today. Thanks, and again, good luck with the charity event. Good work there.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure to have the King with us. Let's go back upstairs and rejoin Mike, Larry, and Darrell.
You watch Dale Jarrett move to the inside there. He's made a nice climb up to 8th place. As you watch from Kevin Harvick's car, Jarrett is one of 5 drivers in this race. Make that 6 drivers who are both the son of a race driver and the father of a race driver. Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett, Sterling Marlin, Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, Jimmy Spencer have both fathers and sons who've driven race cars.
Really not surprised to see Dale Jarrett in that 88 car up there. What we have to remember, he got caught off guard in qualifying the other day. The car got very loose. He qualified in 37th, and now he's up there to 7th position. He just went by Kevin Harvick. This is that same brand new race car, though. He had it Pocono last week, and he was headed for a top 5 finish till the engine expired in the final few laps.
I don't think there's any question that the Ford teams have helped themselves with this new engine package. They're running a lot better.
There you see his teammate Elliott Sadler in the 38 car. He's made a pretty nice rebound because he qualified way back in the field, qualified back in 22nd position, and he's up to 12th. And yeah, of the 8 Fords, 7 of them have that new package. The only one that does not have it here is Ricky Rudd in the 21.
Who had it? Who was the only Ford who had that package last week?
Exactly.
That development continues as Bobby Labonte holds station there in 11th place, just ahead of Sadler, with Sterling Marlin looking in.
This is a good race. It's a good test on an engine here. It's 400 miles, so you're not putting a lot of extra miles on the engine, but it does strain every part of the engine, the valve train, rocker arms, the things that break. And this is a good distance to see how that stuff's going to look after a race is over with.
Darrell, if your car is right, other than coming on to pit road, is there any place you're really all the way out of the throttle here?
Well, really you are, Mike. You drive in the corners really deep here because they're so big. But you roll out and you let the car coast until it takes, Jimmy Johnson would say till it lands.
Yeah.
I say till it takes a set. As soon as it starts to act like it's got all 4 wheels planted, you try to mat it wide open.
You know, you talked about it a while ago. We just saw Jeff Burton in the 99 car. He's up there in the top 10 and 10th position, qualified back in 17th. Solid white car, but with little blue hood hinges. Reason being, that's the car that Mark Martin had at Pocono. This is part of the new Roush Aero package. Jeff Burton said, hey, I want to fill that package. Well, they didn't have time to get him one ready. Mark Martin said, hey, I'm not using that car in Michigan. You paint it white, you use it. Good run for Jeff.
Tony Stewart was one of 4 drivers who had to go to the back of the pack. Tony left the drivers' meeting before it was concluded, had to restart tail end. He climbed from the restart at lap 39 from 25th to 16th. Tony Stewart marching his way into the top 20 here at Michigan. Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by new M3 Power from Gillette. Feel the power of the world's best shave. At 68 laps, Jeff Gordon has a 1.8 second lead on Michael Waltrip. 1.2 seconds further back is Jimmie Johnson in third. Here's something you haven't seen often this season, never mind that it's green, but Kasey Kahne going a lap down. Jeff Gordon's with the Mountain Dew Dodge 1 lap in arrears. So it's kind of surprising not to see Kahne among our Dodge front runners today. Here are the highest running Rams in the field. Rusty in 5th, Jamie in 6th, and Jeremy 8th right now.
Rusty looks pretty comfortable. He's not fighting with that baby. He's just driving her down there and gassing her up, moving forward. Look at him get up on that wheel, boy.
Outside is clear, clear.
Don't you lay down.
Good job, man. That's points all day long right there.
Yeah, right now, Rusty's running laps as quick as our leader, Jeff Gordon, in the 24.
And just a little bit behind Rusty comes Jamie McMurray. Didn't qualify all that well. He started 30th, and he's made a big climb up to 6th place.
And Mike, this morning, right before the race, Jamie McMurray told me they made very few changes to that race car this morning, and it made him just a little bit nervous. Right now, he's saying the car is loose in and tight on the gas. They're going to make air pressure adjustments. They're going to go back up on the left side tires.
Yeah, I talked to Donnie Wingo. He said they just have not figured out how to get that fast lap on qualifying day, but they're always good on race day, especially at these size racetracks.
Well, look at the track right now with this variable fast-moving cloud cover. Turn 3 is in shade. The exit of turn 4 is in sun. The front stretch is shaded. Turn 1 is partially shaded, and turn 2 is in sun. That'd drive you crazy.
Just tells you it's a really big racetrack.
See a battle for second place right here. Jimmie Johnson in the 48. His car just gets stronger as we go into these long green runs. He goes by Michael Waltrip. That's for the second position.
Matt?
Jimmie Johnson working the inside of Michael Waltrip for second. Now, Jimmie said his car has gone to the free side on this run. Meanwhile, Michael Waltrip, who drops back to third on his first run, he was loose early, but then it got normal to borderline tight, he said. They didn't make any adjustments. Now, Michael says the car is tight and getting tighter.
We're starting to see the beginning of some green flag stops. Jeff Green in the 43 car brings his car to pit road. Here in about 5 or 6 laps, you'll probably see most all the leaders start to peel in for those green flag stops.
And it's not unusual for your car to get a little tighter right near the end of your run, because there, as you know, you burn all the fuel out of the back. You're going to put a little extra nose weight in the car, and as tires wear down, you're going to get a little push in the car.
On the right of your screen, Tony Stewart has passed his teammate Bobby Labonte, and that will move Stewart up to 15th.
Yeah, I know DW and Dick Berggren talked about Bobby Labonte not pushing the envelope right now early in the race, but I don't think he's very happy with his car. I think he's looking very forward to that green flag stop coming up.
Yeah, they jack a little wedge in him, maybe by air pressure adjustment, and get him back where he needs to be. Right now, he's just hanging on.
.73 laps complete. We'll be back for the leaders' pit stops. Jeff Gordon leads his teammate Jimmie Johnson by 2 seconds, with Michael Waltrip closing in.
Yeah.
First of the cars in the top dozen to come to pit road in this green flag wave of pit stops is Jeff Burton. 4 tires and fuel for that.
Tires, it is Jimmy. He's been running the middle down to 1 and 2, and he's been hot back and forth between the white line and about middle through 3 and 4.
And that's information that spotter has to give you. That's Ron Thiel, his spotter, telling him where Jimmie Johnson's running on the racetrack.
Oh, boy, that was not good timing right there. That yellow car coasting along was in Jeff's way trying to get on pit road.
That yellow car was P.J. Jones.
Remember, Jeff Gordon has to go all the way down pit road, all the way to the very last pit box, opposite of Jimmie Johnson, who now will assume the lead. He'll be at that very first pit box coming in.
But when he's done, he can accelerate full speed right away. That's the one advantage of that final pit box. Dick?
Down pit road at 55 miles an hour. The car was just a little bit tight after that last pit stop, so with a minor adjustment, they have gone from a little bit loose to a little bit tight, otherwise known as they have got this car really close to perfect this afternoon. This crew is sharp. Everything they've done so far today has been just right, and Gordon's gone.
Kyle Petty and Greg Biffle on pit road. Ryan Newman coming in as well.
Comes a lot of guys. Here comes Jeremy, Sterling. A lot of guys are hitting pit road.
But we see Jimmy Johnson leading that race right there. This is the 8th consecutive race he has led a lap, building up those bonus points.
Mayfield, Marlin, and Bobby Labonte in the pit lane. Steve?
Jeremy Mayfield heads to the attention of Kenny Francis's team. He said earlier in this run, Mike, that his car was neutral. He couldn't make it do anything one way or the other. They talked about an air pressure adjustment on the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield. Left side tires going on, and Mayfield's service is complete. Just a little bit tight.
Fatback McSwain's crew finishing up the right side for Bobby Labonte. Jimmy Spencer is also in.
Man,
Kevin Harvick.
Kevin brought that baby to pit lane. I tell you that. He had her crossed up getting down there.
Who comes in right with him? Oh, that's Kurt Busch in with Harvick.
The DW, as good as Jeff Gordon's been, these guys can't be far behind him getting those fresh tires. Bam.
Kevin Harvick says the GM Goodwin Chevrolet still a little too free through the corner. Track bar adjustment and air pressure adjustment for the 29 car. 14.2 seconds.
Dave Blaney and Scott Wimmer.
Comes Michael.
I believe Jamie McMurray's in the 42. Mark Martin in the 6. Of course, out there many laps down with the transmission tore up.
Here's Matt.
Michael Waltrip's on pit road. Jimmy Johnson's team, he will pit next time by. Michael, we told you earlier, his car was on the tight side. Slugger Labby, the crew chief, will fix only with air pressure for the 15 car. To Steve.
Matt, air pressure only for Jamie McMurray as well. He says he wants to be just a little bit freer off the corner. He exits pit road in front of Joe Nemechek. Back to back.
And the 48 car, Jimmy Johnson, goes over the bump, comes to a stop in his pit stall. They're going to try to adjust his race car with a track bar adjustment. Now, Jimmy said he needed to be freer early in the run on entry and a little tighter earlier in the run on exit, and he's down and away.
Bit of a slight fire down in Dave Blaney's pit. They put that out. A lot of smoke from fire extinguisher material. Rusty is in. Dale Jarrett is in. Tony Stewart. Elliott Sadler in the pit lane.
On the left side of the screen, Matt Kenseth, he now assumes the lead of the race.
Casey Kane, Brian Vickers on pit road. Dick.
Dale Jarrett pitting right now. He has won 4 times here. He's got a good race car to the point they are making no chassis adjustments at all to this race car on the pit stop. Matt.
Dig the 17 of Matt Kenseth in. Wrench the back window. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. He was loose in and tied off earlier. They did try to fix it on his first stop with air pressure and wedge adjustment. He's trying to fix it even more. While his stop is finishing up, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team waiting for the Budweiser Chevrolet to come in. Jr. gets on the binders to get down to pit road speed. 55 miles per hour is a 21. Ricky Rudd also on pit road. Bud Guy's going to try to fix that race car. Loose in, tight in the center, and loose on exit. Double adjustment and air pressure for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Kevin Two-Beer Pinnell hits the jack on the left side. Lux going on service complete already on the rear to Steve.
Matt Ward Burton wants more forward bite. He says he's loose. They just made a 2-round wedge adjustment and air pressure. He's down pit road.
Robbie Gordon, Todd Bodine, Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte, Ward Burton, Ricky Craven in the pits. Brendan Gaughan as well. Scott Riggs picks up the lead of this race.
I think one car pushed the envelope on the fuel. Ricky Craven in the 32 looked like he was out of fuel when he came across the apron in 3 and 4.
They coasted a long way.
And here comes Riggs to pit road. That will cycle things around and hand the lead back to Jeff Gordon.
You see him trying to push Ricky Craven, shooting ether in the cowl opening, trying to get him refired. This is very costly. A big mistake early in the race. Finally gets it fired.
So Riggs picks up 5 points, trying to gain ground in that rookie chase.
But that cycles it through because there's the leader once again, Jeff Gordon in that 24 car, 15 laps before halfway.
didn't understand.
The teams that choose to compete in the McDonald's Drive-Thru Championship, fueled by Powerade, are led by Dale Earnhardt Jr. after 14 races. $200 grand is the pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Quaker Stay, the power to reduce friction. Ford Explorer, ready for any adventure. Nextel, NASCAR and Nextel, partners in speed. And by Pizza Hut, home of the new 4-for-all pizza. Well, the 1-2-3 Hendrick punch that started the day is down to 2. Race leader Jeff Gordon has blown up.
That's catastrophic right there. All that coming out the tailpipe. She broke something big time.
There's that hard left-hand turn into the garage area.
And the other thing that you got to remember is that 48 is complaining about a transmission problem too.
I asked the other week why so many fans cheer Jeff Gordon's misfortune. Got a lot of emails on the subject, and it seems there are a lot of folks that feel that Jeff's success came too soon and too easily. We know it's not easy, but not all the fans loved it. Jimmy's in, Matt's there.
Right side tires, Mike, on the 48. Also, Michael Waltrip has something amiss on his right side window. It had come loose and started sliding back. To Dick.
Dale Jarrett is going to take fuel only to try to keep as much track position as he possibly can. They've torn the cover off the windshield so he'll see better from where he is going to be racing. Bobby Labonte also on pit road right now. Steve.
Well, Dick, Jeff Gordon has just climbed out of the race car. He's talked briefly to the team. Jeff, how bad is it? Is it terminal for the day?
I'm pretty sure it is. You know, it felt like the bottom end of the race of the motor. And, you know, we've been talking about horsepower a lot, and we are making some serious horsepower. But, you know, and we've had such great success with the reliability. So I'm not sure, you know, what happened, but we'll take a look at it. And it's a rare occasion for Hendrick Motorsports, and we had a great car, man. I tell you what, Robbie Loomis and all the guys in this DuPont Chevrolet were doing a great job. And was having a lot of fun out there. The car was better than I thought it was going to be. A little bit loose on new tires, but really was good on the long runs.
Thank you, Jeff.
Pole sitter out for the day.
But their successes, Hendrick Motorsports, far outweighs their failures.
And when you look at his last 3 weeks, he's had a car that could have won any one of those races, had the right front tire blow at Dover, finished 4th last week. You see it, what happened today.
Third caution of the day comes at lap 89.
Nice to have you with us on Fox back here in Michigan. Time for a Visa race break. Moments ago under our third caution, Ryan Newman getting the free pass, getting his lap back with Jeff Hammond. Let's look at some Michigan moments as Mark Martin had problems early with his transmission. Roush Racing is suffering, and a caution flag coming out in a hurry. Robbie Gordon, after Brendan Gaughan had slowed up, bumped him from the back.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden here went Robbie Gordon around and around, and everybody did a great job of driving to avoid this. It could have been a lot worse than what it was. And then Ryan Newman, he has trouble. Car overheats.
That's
had to come to pit. A hot dog wrapper coming. He had to go to pit road. And then Casey Mears has something break on the front suspension. He comes in, crew jacks it up, and realizes they've got to make repairs to this car.
Casey Mears in trouble in that spot. Jeff Gordon, who led 81 laps on the pole, two-time winner here in Michigan. Engine goes, and his third DNF this season, doesn't expect to be back.
Now, there's one thing about this race right now. As you see here, we're getting ready to come to restart with Rusty Wallace leading this race.
Ready, green.
Rusty Wallace, Scott Wimmer, and Brendan Gaughan, the three leaders, did not pit. Dale Jarrett pitted for fuel only. They are the front four ahead of Jimmy Johnson, Jamie McMurray, and Joe Nemechek.
And I don't disagree with that call right there on Rusty, Scott Wimmer, Brendan Gaughan. It only been about 5 laps since these guys were to pit road under green. That's the reason Dale Jarrett in 88 took fuel only.
Matt and Jimmy Johnson's pit.
The 48 fading back now. Under that caution, his spotter, Chris Osborne, went to Jamie McMurray's spotter, Lauren Renier, said we are having severe issues with third gear. Be very careful on the restart. We may have problems.
That's where it certainly could bite him, is on those restarts.
Now, once you start having trouble, you know, those parts have got to go somewhere. If it's just a shifting issue, that's one thing. But if it's starting to vibrate or shake, she won't last.
See Dale Jarrett and 88 car battling each other. Brendan Gaughan in the 77. This is a battle for second place. Brendan Gaughan on the high side, Dale Jarrett on the low side. Thank you, NASCAR. This is the way a race is supposed to go. We're not running all those cautions, even with a blown engine. Thank you.
So far, so good. But Dick Berggren, is there an issue with Jarrett's car?
No, there really isn't, Mike. I wanted to follow up on why DJ did not take fresh tires, both during practice and during this race. His car has simply been better on the tires once they break in after a few laps. So, in order to be fast, he stayed on old tires.
Scott Riggs in the 10 car right now. He is 1 lap down. Back in 28th position, Rusty Wallace, the 2 car, battling for the lead here with Dale Jarrett in that 88.
And he's trying to keep from being 1 lap down right now.
Here high.
There you see Dale Jarrett, 88 car, side by side with Rusty. And Brendan Gaughan in the 77. He wants to follow his teammate through.
To the 10 cars, clear high.
Now the 10 car's on new tires. He got tires, restarted next to the leaders. First car 1 lap down on the inside on the restart. So hopefully Riggs is hoping that he can drive away from these cars that did not stop.
Slowly but surely, I see the 10 car making that turn and headed in the right direction.
And as long as these guys race like this side by side, that's good news for Scott Riggs as well. You can see him pulling away. Need to make note also about the time Jeff Gordon blew up. Looked like Kenny Schrader in the 49 had an engine failure, went to the garage as well.
Another car that looks like it's coming back. It's a little bit better than it was. Is the 9 car. He's able to hang up there with the leaders now.
At the front, 47-year-old Dale Jarrett and 47-year-old Rusty Wallace, both the sons of racers and both the fathers of race drivers, running 1-2.
Boy, DJ got a heck of a run off of turn 2 that time.
And Joe Nemechek trying to come from 5th position.
Well, that's another team that could use a break here with a good finish and a good run. Joe's been running well, but had a lot of bad luck. And you see that car back there right behind Michael, the 9 car of Casey Kane, or his couple cars back there. He's starting to look pretty good. He's a lap down, but he's able to hang, and he wasn't able to do that earlier.
He would be the free pass car unless Riggs gets lapped by Dale or Rusty. Dale Jarrett had only led 6 laps this year previous to today.
I think we saw a resurgence of Dale last week at Pocono. Car really looked good, lost engine right there at the end, not his fault. But that team looked like they've really got something going now. Well,
they have to get something going because remember, with only 11 races to go in his first 26, he's 17th in points, 150 out. He has to have about 11 runs just like this.
Are you saying that the margin of error is very narrow?
And narrowing every week. Jamie McMurray in the 42 car, he goes by Joe Nemechek in the 01. That is the battle for 6th position. Scott Wimmer in that 22, Frankie Stoddard, he gambles and leaves him out as Dale Jarrett and Brendan Gaughan did. He's hanging up there in the top 5.
I like Frankie because if there's contrary strategy to be found, he'll be one of the first to find it and try it.
Different is good if it's good.
See Scott Riggs in the 10 car. We talked about him just a moment ago, trying to stay on the tail end of the lead lap.
Looks like DJ can hang pretty good, but you know, watching back there, watching Rusty, he's starting to slide back on his old tires.
Jeff Gordon, the pole sitter, out of the race. Here's Dick Berggren with more on the Hendrick engine situation.
Well, whenever a driver sees a teammate's engine fail, certainly he worries about whether his engine might fail as well. I talked to Jeff Gordon's crew this morning and asked whether they were tuning for power or fuel mileage. They said neither. They were tuning for reliability. And moments before the start of the race, I was with John Hendrick on pit road, and I asked him about the engines, and he said that they had found more power in the engine. It's going to cost them a little bit of fuel mileage, but you guys all know power can sometimes be destructive.
You know something, I agree, Doc, but here's something. That 9 car, how can you take a car, and Larry, you can answer this better than anybody, how can you take a car that goes a lap down, and the driver can't drive it, comes in and makes one pit stop, makes a minor change, and he's up there fighting the 9 is Casey Kane to get back on the lead lap.
And you know, Darrell, I just question, is this a product? We talked about it in the opening of where he qualified. It took him a little time to get a feel for where he was with that race car because he started back in traffic so deep in the field.
Casey Kane has got to get past Scott Riggs to be the first car 1 lap down and then try to unlap himself from the leaders. Matt?
Larry Mackey was tight earlier, but then the car had gone to the free side, and then he reported to Tom Baldwin Jr. the car just had no grip. It's been a progression of adjustments from track bar to wedge to air pressure, trying to make small gains to get that race car back in the ballpark so they can get back on the lead lap and try to make a run for it.
And I'm sure when he was back in the pack as where he started, that just magnified that tightness because he had no downforce on the front end.
Best race of the day, bottom of your screen, the 10 and the 9. Riggs and Kane trying to be the first car 1 lap down. And up front, next best race of the day. It's for the lead. Here comes Brendan Gaughan.
Oh yeah, Brendan he's a cool cat. I like to see him up there leading the race. This ought to be exciting. I like to hear him on his radio.
But just remember, great qualifying effort. He qualified in 6th, but he was involved in that wreck on lap 1 back there on the backstretch with Robbie Gordon in the 31. But now he's leading this race.
Yep.
I can't tell you how good you're looking. Keep pedaling. That's a nice job. All right, you got to run on him. Let's use it. Good job, Brendan. You're holding your own here.
Well, any of you have watched stock car racing on TV for the last dozen years know that voice.
Man, I'm having a great day. Richard Petty was in the booth. Buddy Baker's on the radio. I'll tell you, got to hang out with Cale last week. Like old home week.
Like reunion.
Second race of the season, Brendan Gaughan has led. Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Mountain Dew, the taste everyone's mad about. Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff. TGI Fridays. Get a taste of Friday's fresh summer salads. Summer just got better. And by WebMD, redefining modern medicine. 108 laps complete. Brendan Gaughan leads Elliott Sadler, Dale Jarrett, and Sterling Marlin. Here's Dick Berggren with today's WebMD safety report.
Fuel mileage is especially important here at Michigan, but fuel safety is important at every track. That's why NASCAR requires special fuel cells to be located in the trunk of every race car. No gas tank here. Special lines take the fuel from the tank to the engine. And each trunk area is also equipped with a special fire extinguishing system that's automatically fired when the trunk gets hot. The advantage of the fuel cell? This rubberized bladder made of Kevlar. It moves with the fuel, so it's very unlikely that a fuel cell will ever fail.
For information about keeping your family safe and healthy and a chance to win tickets to races next season, visit drive.webmd.com. Dodge, Ford, Dodge, Dodge with Sterling Marlin and Jamie McMurray filling the top 5. Then the Chevys of Michael Waltrip and Joe Nemechek. The Ford of Jeff Burton, the Chevy of Jimmy Johnson, and the Ford of Matt Kenseth, our top 10 at 110 laps.
I like that 9 car, Casey Kane. He's going to get back on the lead lap here before long. The guy I really like, though, is coming up there behind all these guys. In that 40 car, Sterling Marlin is showing a lot of speed right now.
But, DW, this racetrack, it seems like Sterling always runs good at. He had this race won a year ago till he missed that shift. Remember, he got the first win for Dodge's comeback here in the spring race, or the summer race, actually, of 2001.
Asked him about that Friday night. He said he just feels comfortable here. He's able to get comfortable in the car, get a setup that he likes, and when that car's headed for the front, boy, get out of the way, because he doesn't lift. Now, among the Dodge boys, though, what about Jeremy Mayfield? We thought at the top of the day that he might be one of the cars to beat. And Darrell, he is 21st, 13 seconds back.
He was so optimistic and had a great test here, and he thought he was going to lead and win the race today. But Burns, what happened to that thing?
Hey, DW, we just heard Jeremy say on lap 103 to his crew chief, Kenny Francis, this race car is sliding everywhere.
Well, it must be. It's not sliding to the front. It's more like sliding to the back.
Right now, he's about 14 seconds behind our leader, Brendan Gaughan. But I'm pretty impressed with Brendan Gaughan. We've got a battle right here between Jimmy Johnson in the 48, Matt Kenseth in the 17. This is a battle for ninth, but I've been watching Jimmy Johnson. He got marred back there about 10th or 12th, and he's really not making any ground up on those guys. In fact, he's fixing to lose possibly a position to Matt Kenseth in the 17. Matt had to do a little give and take right there off turn 4.
Yeah, you know, here aero is so important, and when you're behind cars, it makes it very difficult to pass them. You got to be a lot faster than another guy to get by him.
And I think that's the reason a lot of those guys rolled the dice. But I'm impressed with Brendan Gaughan at 77 because of the 3 cars that gambled, he's the only one that has paid off because Rusty Wallace and Scott Wimmer, the other 2 cars that stayed out, they're back in 11th and 12th now, kind of sliding backwards. What? But Kasey Kahne just keeps hustling, trying to get that lap back.
Yeah, his car looks really, really good. I mean, as bad as it looked earlier, it looks that good now.
Doug Bobble, the co-owner of that car with Roger Penske. Didn't you and Doug get into it last night in the Father's Day Olympics? You both got pretty soaked.
We also tried to go for the same chair in musical chairs, and that didn't work.
But a lot of fun had by all.
How long are you leading? You're pulling away.
Too much rotation, Tanner. Too much rotation still.
Keep driving that, baby. Don't worry about it. Wonderful line through 1 and 2 then. Run your line, concentrate, just run every lap the same.
Hit your marks.
That's a veteran driver right there just telling that young rookie, uh-oh, we got the 42, is it?
42 car, Jamie McMurray.
And caution is out as McMurray may have exploded one.
Oh, she goes up in smoke.
And he was running in the 5th position, up there in the top 5.
It's the 4th caution of the day. It comes out working lap 116.
Makes that dreaded left turn into the garage area.
But Jeff Hammond talked about it earlier. I mean, the RPMs never fall down here. You talked about it, DW. 9,800, 9,900. These parts just aren't made to take that.
And we believe Kasey Kahne will be the beneficiary of McMurray's bad luck and get the free pass.
Well, that puts that the 12 car got it earlier, and he's been looking pretty good back in there. Now Kasey gets it back. This race is going to take on a different look here, about 150 laps.
And that caution's a big break also for Kasey Kahne's teammate, Jeremy Mayfield. He needs to get to pit road and make adjustments on that piece.
So there'll be 27 cars on the lead lap when we go back to green. Jamie McMurray brings out the 4th yellow of the day and the 2nd one for a blown engine following Jeff Gordon's engine going up about 20 laps ago.
Now see, here's another time when I think we could have done a better job. Pit road should have been open right then. They got to go down here now and get behind the pace car and burn another lap. In the old days, we would have come on pit road and the pace car would have gone out on the track and waited for us. They're gaining on it, though. Today's been a lot better than what we've been seeing.
Absolutely.
Look at this racetrack from our Quaker State aerial coverage, and you see the varying cloud cover here. Part of the racetrack in sunlight, part of it in deep shade, and that goes on all day here, back and forth.
Yeah, but when it does go in and out, like it doesn't change it very much. Minor changes, not like it clouds up for the whole racetrack.
Just look at the crowd here. You think they have big crowds at the University of Michigan up in Ann Arbor. That's about half the size of this crowd here today.
Well, they want to have a football game here. I read where they wanted to play a football game out here in the infield so they could set an all-time Tennessee.
I tell you what this caution also does as far as strategy. Should we go green the rest of the way, this would put us in that window where everyone could make it on one more green flag stop.
You know, Nextel done a cool thing today. They got that fan center back here, and they were letting people call their dad, make one phone call to their dad this morning and up till like 1 o'clock just before the race started. I thought that was a pretty cool deal.
That is cool. And there you see the green flag waving to open pit road.
If I was that flagman, I'd throw that red one away. I don't even want to get close to it.
All right, let's see if everybody stops. It's on the lead lap.
Oh, yeah. I think all 26 of them will. 4 tires and adjustments. Matt Yoakum.
Todd Parrott has 3 wins here at Michigan with the 88 team, trying to score one with the 38. Now, they made a 2-tire change in the last stop, but Elliott Sadler felt like it made the car too tight, so they're going to go a 4-tire change, no adjustments this stop. That should free the car up to Steve.
No adjustments for Brendan Gaughan, Matt. He won a truck race here a year ago in Michigan. 4 tires, no adjustments. Dick.
Very minor adjustments on Dale Jarrett's car. He has been very fast all day long, just a little bit tight on the racetrack. He's out of the pits, but a bunch of guys have beaten him out of the pits.
Yeah, he'll be about 7th or 6th coming out. Had to sweep around Bobby Labonte's car. Service just finished on Labonte.
38 car, Elliott Sadler, Todd Parrott in that group, the M&M's car, they will win the battle off pit road with everybody changing 4 tires full of fuel. 17 car, Matt Kenseth didn't have a very bad pit stop either. Robbie Reiser in that group.
Jamie McMurray's Dodge up in smoke. That's why we're under the 4th caution of the day in the DHL 400.
Happy Father's Day from Michigan under caution. This is a Visa race break. Moments ago, Casey Kane getting the free pass back on the lead lap. One of People Magazine's 50 hottest bachelors. 3 second-place finishes this year, looking for his first win. The rookie back in the hunt. Meanwhile, Jamie McMurray out with a blown engine. That's 3 today. Let's go to Jeff Hammond. As he's everywhere you want him to be at the Ford Cutaway car. We may see a pattern developing here, huh, Jeff?
Yeah, a lot of the high RPM these guys are right now, as far as when you see Jamie McMurray come down pit road, when he pulled out of his pit area, the team actually saw some oil leaking from the race car and was starting to be concerned. Well, wasn't too long after that, the car itself erupted in smoke. Jamie's day was done, but it's probably because of the high RPM. You notice all of a sudden the smoke coming out of the tailpipes, high RPM, sustained RPM. These engines right now are seeing close to 10,000 RPM, and you can't do that for very long. When that happens, you never know. You may wind up breaking a connecting rod, pulling a wrist pin out of the piston, breaking a valve spring, or dropping a valve. Once that comes down and makes contact with this piston, a lot of times that's where the smoke comes from. And I believe our Steve Burns is caught up with Jamie McMurray. Let's find out what happened. Steve?
Yeah, let's ask him, Jeff. What happened, Jamie? You guys came in here 12th in points. I know you had high hopes. What was wrong with that engine?
I don't know if it broke a piston. Something big broke, though. It put a hole in the block. So, tough day. I mean, it's not really anyone's fault. We've really improved our engine program from last year. And when you come to a place like this, it's just things like that happen. So, only the second motor we broke this year, so that's not too bad.
All right, thanks for your time, Jamie. Back to Chris Myers.
All right, thanks, Steve. So a piston problem near the home of the Detroit Pistons, NBA champions. This has been a Visa race break. Let's get back up to Mike, Larry, and Darryl.
Only you could make that analogy, Chris.
A piston problem.
I never thought of that, but thank you. Big gainer on pit stops was Matt Kenseth, who went into the pits running 8th. He is now 3rd behind Elliott Sadler and Brendan Gaughan.
And think about Jamie McMurray, 12th in points, only 4 points out of 10th coming into this race.
I think it's time.
Grab those knobs, twist them as far as you can, and crank it up.
Fighting hard to hold on to second place, but here comes Nemechek and Kenseth after him.
I believe Ryan Pemberton, crew chief for Joe Nemechek in that 01, I think they just keep getting that car better and better at this racetrack. His last 12 starts here, he's never finished better than 12th in those starts. He's up there battling not only for 3rd, now for 2nd, where Brendan Gaughan in the 77 got such a run off turn 2 on that backstretch.
And here comes Sterling Marlin. Don't count the veteran out of this one. He's bringing Dale Jarrett with him.
That silver bullet's on the move, boys. Looking good.
Steve Burns.
Mike, Joe Nemechek hit it on lap 116, said the car was loose, so they dropped air pressures. And you know, DW, you were talking about how they needed some good luck. Joe drove this very same car at Texas where he led laps before breaking a spark plug.
That car, you mentioned it, DW, they have had so much terrible luck this year.
Jimmy Spencer made an unscheduled pit stop. They put 4 tires on the Morgan McClure Chevy and sent him back out.
Well, that's some more of that Hendrick power now. Let's don't forget that. And they really had some strong engines here this weekend. It takes a lot of power here. It takes a lot of horsepower. It takes good aero to go fast.
Elliott Sadler's Ford, Joe Nemechek's Chevy, and the Dodges of Brendan Gaughan and Sterling Marlin.
And that 38 car, as Elliott always likes to point out to me, is his Texas car. And every time he runs that car, he says he runs well and he loves that car. And I said to him, why don't you run it every week?
Yeah, I mean, he's been fast all weekend. I think a lot like his teammate Dale Jarrett. The racetrack just got real loose in qualifying the other day.
Robert Yates has 6 wins here. 3 by Dale Jarrett, 2 by Davey Allison, and 1 by Ernie Irvan, who we saw Friday night here. Looks like Ernie looking in great shape.
Yeah, I went to that race at Wall Stadium, and he won one of the 10-lap heat races. And he looked good. Trickle about turned him over, but he got his old car fixed and got back out there and won the heat race.
Greg Biffle trying to scramble back and into the top 10. Right now he's in 11th place. 3.5 seconds off the lead.
And he's probably passed more cars than anyone. He qualified back in 13th. He really started sliding backwards, but you got to give a call to Doug Richard and that crew. They've had to hood up twice under caution. They adjusted the tow out in this car, and now he's up there battling Scott Wimmer in the 22 to get in the 10th position.
You know, just the fact that Brendan is up there, I mean, think about the damage he had on that car on that first lap. The whole back of that car is kind of knocked out of whack, but it didn't hurt it too bad, doesn't look like.
But that bright light in Joe Nemechek's mirror is the silver paint on Sterling Marlin's car. Marlin has just taken 3rd away from the battle between Brendan Gaughan and Dale Jarrett, and now he's right on the heels of Nemechek for 2nd. Matt?
Sterling Marlin had 102 laps last year in this race. He says the car goes through spells. It's tight, then it gets good, then it goes tight again. They made a small air pressure adjustment in both front tires as a problem on the Jeff Burton car number 99, guys.
Jeff had been up and down all day, had a car that could run in the top 10.
And he was in the top 10, but now he has a problem.
And it was the 8th place car as that unsponsored Roush machine comes to pit road. 2nd place, Sterling Silver.
Talk about veterans. Talked about DJ in that 88 car, the UPS car, all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. That's where his car's been. He's also going to battle Joe Nemechek in the 01. That would be the battle for 3rd now.
That's Grandpa Sterling Marlin up there too, guys.
Today, I guess they have a Grandfather's Day. That's a whole separate holiday.
Yeah, that's another day.
Father's Day.
That's another day.
Elliott Sadler sees his lead diminishing. 128 laps in here in Michigan. Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by AOL. AOL members can double their You Promise college savings. Fram Air Hog High Performance Air Filter. Hog the Road. Subway. Eat fresh. And by Advance Auto Parts. We're ready in advance. .132 laps complete. Sterling Marlin, his teammate Jamie McMurray, has a blown engine. Sterling just pushed his foot down even further to go past Elliott Sadler and take the lead.
I think right now, you know, the way Sterling's year is going, leading this race is probably worrying about that engine is no big deal to him right now. Let me get out front and lead some laps here at Motor City.
Good day for fathers. Good Father's Day here. I mean, as far as leading this race, but as for the Gillette Young Guns, Well, M3 Power invites you to enter the Gillette Young Guns Challenge. Each week a lucky fan wins $5 grand. Go to GilletteYoungGuns.com for details. Those are their point standings, not their running standings in this race. Where the highest of them is Matt Kenseth, currently 6th. There's Marlin's lead over Dale Jarrett. Couple of fellas who are feeling like young guns right now.
I just realized something. If Sterling wins this race, which he's well on his way, he's riding home with me. I'm going to have to smell that champagne all the way home.
He's liable to be a little while.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. He may not go home. He might just stay here.
Matt Kenseth trying to take 5th from Brendan Gaughan. Steve?
Mike, the problem Brendan Gaughan has right now is he's gotten very loose, and he also thinks he has some paper on the grill. In fact, he just told his spotter to tell Elliott Sadler's spotter in the 38 car, if I can get up to the rear bumper of him, I'm going to hit him just a little bit to try and clean that grill off.
And there you see it right there on the lower opening. And remember, that's what happened to his teammate Ryan Newman about 100 laps ago, back on lap 22, when he had to make a green flag stop.
And because there's so much pressure right there, that is not going to fall off until he gets up behind somebody.
But when we mentioned Ryan Newman in that 12 car, it's taken him about 3/4 of this race to do it, but he has made his way. He got the free pass back on the lead lap, and he's up in the 10th position. And how about the recovery from the man that left the drivers meeting early? Tony Stewart in the 20 car started dead last on the field. Now he's up there battling to get in the top 10, back in 11th.
Let's see if Brendan gets up here behind the 17 car, Matt Kenseth. I'd get right up next to him. You got to get closer than that. You can see the tape flopping around on the left corner of the grill there. That's the upper grill. But he's going to have to get right up against him to get that off of there.
That's the only way it will come off. He's going to have to get right there at it, change the pressure on the nose of that car.
It creates a void when you get right up under a guy like that, and it'll come off.
Now, we talked about Sterling Marlin. He's taken off ever since McMurray's blown engine. Since his teammate Jeff Gordon blew an engine, Jimmy Johnson has pedaled his way back in the field. Now back to 7th place, Matt.
Mike just took over in 7th position from Michael Waltrip. Now Chad Canals has not told Jimmy Johnson to take it easy or back off. Actually, the issue that Jimmy has is the fact that it takes his car a little while to come into where he needs it. They made a track bar adjustment down around on his last stop because the car was just too free down in turns 1 and 2.
Rusty Wallace was a bit slow there, dropped back. Something happened to Rusty, and there was a bit of smoke from his number 2.
That's a cylinder. I think he may be experiencing some kind of engine problem.
Yeah, he just came by still.
Yeah,
you can hear
bad.
it. It's not on 8 cylinders.
More than likely, that's what happens here. You know, you break a valve spring. That's the weak link in every engine. Break a valve spring, and the valve goes down, taps the piston, pokes a hole in the piston. Oh, yeah.
Coming outside.
He's going to hear that a lot today.
Yeah.
Outside.
Not running clear and clean now. It's got that rattle in it.
Yeah, you can just see the RPMs right here. You can see it where it's just not turning near the RPMs it should be turning, probably more than 1,000 off.
Yeah, well, we call that the death rattle. It doesn't last long.
And right now he's about 2 seconds off the pace to Sterling Marlin, our leader. Now he is still in the 12th position, but he'll hear that outside a lot, losing position.
One thing that'll make you do is you'll ride with that left foot right on that clutch.
You know, another car that's been running in the top 10 quite a bit, Scott Wimmer in the 22 car, he just had to make an unscheduled stop. We talked about Jeff Burton earlier. He had a right rear tire problem. What about it, though, on Scott Wimmer, Steve?
Yeah, Larry Mackey was having a great run. His car had started to overheat as well. They pulled some paper off the grill, and they also pulled some tape off the grill opening.
Now here's a study in contrast. Look at Sterling's line and look at Dale Jarrett's line from DJ's onboard.
That's where DJ's running. That's where you want to run if you can, because it's the shortest distance around the racetrack, and there's a lot of grip right around that white line.
And I think when we've seen him so dominant here in the races that he's won, that's where he's won it, running around the bottom.
In 2000 in this race, he was right around the white lane all day, and he really stunk up the show.
But you remember what happened to him early on? He got spun. Remember, he comes spinning down through the grass here, came back, took 4 tires late in the race, started about 10th or 12th, and raced his way to the front with just a few laps to go.
hasn't been a great day for our points leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt.
Running back in the 19th position. And why is that significant? Because he's having a bad day and Jimmie Johnson's having a good day. Junior only had a 58-point lead over Jimmie Johnson coming into today's race. They have been battling tight all day. They've tried everything. Spring rubbers, wedge, track bar, you name it. The car just continues to slide the nose.
Now another of the Hendrick-powered cars, the Zero of Ward Burton, may have dropped a cylinder.
Well, we're getting to that point. We got 58 laps to go. And you've been zinging these things pretty hard here. Things start breaking, Jeff.
What's going on, Darrell, is the fact that all of these cars are turning so much more RPM. They're actually pulling about 10 points lower gear than ever before. We've seen a little puff of smoke come out of the Zero car. And because of that, the RPM level being up, Larry Mack, can you believe a lot of the guys are running a rev limiter chip to try to keep their driver from turning the engine too much? They need the gear to get off the corner, but at the end of these straightaways, they're turning way too much RPM.
Yeah, I had an interesting conversation with Elliott Sadler the other day. He said Robert Yates just defies them to get against that rev limiter and cut out cylinders. So what they put in there was a shift light that comes on about 100 RPMs before the rev limiter. That shows him time to roll out of that throttle, getting off in the corner.
Last year here, remember, we said we were turning 9,200 and how incredible that was? Well, this year they're turning 9,800 to 10,000, and they're not going to make a lot of them.
I think the DNFs tell the tale.
Who will get the trophy? Who will get the basket of broken engine parts in the DHL 400? Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of NASCAR. As usual at Michigan, it's been a race of comers and goers. Sterling Marlin, Dale Jarrett have fought their way to the front. A couple other fellows who are going in that direction are Kasey Kahne, who qualified poorly, got a lap down early. And now Kahne is up to 11th place.
And moving forward all the time, catching cars and passing them. He and Tony Stewart are the two cars right now, I think, that are back in the field, that when these green flag pit stops take place, we could see a different race.
But I think Kasey Kahne, you saw the graphic right there, 14.5 seconds behind our leader. He's one of the cars, he needs a caution to get caught up with things.
Just ahead of him, Tony Stewart, 12 seconds off the lead in 10th, and running about second and a half behind Ryan Newman in 9th. Brendan Gaughan going to give up 6th spot to Jimmie Johnson, who led earlier.
Well, he said he was loose, and once you get loose, there's not a whole lot you can do, but just slow down, because otherwise you'll back her up in the fence.
Larry mentioned that Johnson has led now 8 consecutive races, which as many cars are competitive these days, that's a pretty good feat. The all-time record, 39 straight races in 1971 and 2. Bobby Allison led 39 straight races. Caution's out again.
That's the caution we just talked about. Kasey Kahne, I think, was looking for. We're hearing maybe Greg Biffle in the 16 car got up into the wall. And Greg was running in about the 13th or 14th position.
I don't know, unless he shook something, you know, unless he knocked something out in the racetrack, Biffle. I'm not sure that was what the caution was for. Maybe we'll see.
But you know, we talked the last time that the caution came out back on lap 115. Everybody pitted at 117. That easily put everyone where they could make it on one more stop. With the caution coming out 50 laps to go. We talked about this in the opening. This is a very borderline of cars making it from here to the end without stopping.
Now, Larry, again, I just want to point out that the field's behind the pace car. The pits should be open this time by.
Absolutely.
Open the pits and let them make their pit stops now, but they ride around here for a lap for a while, I don't know.
Still got a little work to do.
Track crew looking for debris at both ends of the speedway. Lap 150. The caution is for debris and the pits are open. Matt.
Sterling Marlin already in. He says the car is good down in 1 and 2. Slides and those a little in the middle, but it is really good up off, but it's tight down in 3 and 4. Going to make an air pressure adjustment on the 40. Steve?
No adjustments for Joe Nemechek. Matt, crew chief Ryan Pemberton telling gas man Henry Benfield, make sure this thing is full of gas. We can go the rest of the way. Let's go to Dick.
Dale Jarrett lost 5 positions on the last pit stop. The crew has 2 new members over the wall, new rear tire changer and a new catch can man, and he came in second, and he's going to lose a couple on this one too.
Tell you what, when that car's working out on the racetrack, Joe Nemechek in the 01, Ryan Pemberton, they came in 4th. They go out second. Good pit stop for those guys.
And they upended a couple of guys in their pit doing it on the left side, Larry. A couple of fellows fell over as the car left and went down kind of hard. Clean up in the back straightaway off the racing line. But more importantly, a piece of what looks like metal in turn 4. Let's show you the race off pit road.
It was close, but that 40 wins the race. Joe Nemechek close by, Elliott Sadler, Dale Jarrett.
Boy, they needed a good stop, and they got one.
When they needed to, close to the end.
Pole sitter Jeff Gordon led 81 laps before an engine failure knocked him out of the race. Sterling Marlin, your leader with 46 laps to go. Ganassi teammate Jamie McMurray, his engine failed. Can Sterling hang on, Jeff Hammond?
He needs to. He knows right now it's all up to him. This is where he wants to be with 46 laps to go. Lock and load.
Let's rejoin Larry, Darrell, and Mike.
Oh, 46 to go. That horse can see the barn from here, Darrell.
Now, about a year or two ago here is when he missed his shift on the restart and cost him a race. So let's see if he can get through this restart clean. And he does, looks like.
It's a good, real good restart.
He's not going to get bitten by that dog twice.
Mark Martin in the 6 car, remember, he's out there 18 laps down, tore that transmission up at the start of the race.
Yeah, I know Mark wants to run good, but I question, he'll obviously move out of the way.
That 12 car, Ryan Newman, he's up in the 9th position. Remember, lap 22, Brendan Gaughan into the wall.
Yeah, he got in there a little hot. I mean, he drove it in way too hard. I don't know
Keep going, you're okay.
But okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's okay, though. I think he got quite, he already had some damage. Now he's got a lot more.
Sterling Marlin came into the pits with the lead, but credit that Lee McCall led team. Randy Hildreth, Mike Motil, Mark Jacobs, Stephen Wolf, Trent Davis, Randy Cox, and Tim Shore for getting him back out first and keeping the lead.
Elliott Sadler in the 38 car up there battling Joe Nemechek in the 01. Battle for second position. He's trying to get back to the front.
Dodge, Chevy, Ford.
Of course, Casey Mears in the 41 car. He's out there 9 laps down. Remember, he broke that chain on his front sway bar. Lost a number of laps repairing it. Had a great race car earlier.
Now, Joe Nemechek's team got a fast pit stop, and they got all but one thing done. Watch this on the left side.
See right here, he's trying to put tape on the grill. The pit stop was so quick, he could not get it on there. But you know what? You come in 4th, going 2nd. I think that pit stop was more important than that tape, Steve Burns.
Larry Mack, Ryan Pemberton said, he told Joe Nemechek, we have a small hole. Well, we'll get back to that story. Caution is out.
32 car down here slow.
Ricky Craven, after having a strong first 20 or 30 laps here, been fighting a handling problem for quite some time in the Tide Chevrolet. So Craven will put us under caution for the 6th time at lap 159. There's what happened to Brendan Gaughan earlier.
He just, man, I tell you, I watched him. He forgot the turn was there. He forgot to turn.
This caution could be a good break for him because he had fallen back to 24th position. Maybe he can get to pit road, make some repairs, and stay on the lead lap.
Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by UPS, the official express delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck.
On Thursday at the Dearborn Proving Grounds, Ford gave its Nextel Cup drivers a tour of 3 of their 2005 model offerings. 4 Ford fans got a chance to ride with the drivers and drive the new cars. The new Mustang with retro styling and modern technology was as popular with the race fans as the race drivers. Mark Martin thinks the new 500 sedan will be a big seller at his dealership. The Freestyle SUV got a good workout, run hard by the NASCAR drivers who loved its handling. All neat stuff and a fun day that let folks experience cars that are built for tough.
Yeah, but Dick, you tease us with those quick little cheater shots. You can't really see what they really look like. Tell you, the other new Ford that was here was the new Ford GT. Yes, Dick, that was here, that was given to Matt Kenseth for winning the last Winston Cup championship in 2003. That's a $140,000 hot rod.
Well, it's not only a $140,000 hot rod, but I got a chance to go around the proving ground in one of those things. And let me tell you what, Kurt Busch took me, and it was one of the best rides I've ever had in my life. That boy can really drive.
And that mid-engine car can really go. 161 laps complete. We're under caution. Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Wendy's 99-cent super value menu. It's better here. Goodyear Assurance featuring triple tread technology. Autolite spark plugs. It's time to change your plugs. And by Chevy, the winningest name in racing, an American revolution. .38 laps to go in Michigan. Sterling Marlin leading the DHL 400 over Elliott Sadler, Joe Nemechek, Dale Jarrett, Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson.
You can go down there and tell Jimmy Elledge I like him and his driver. But I ain't got many chances to win many races lately. He better get the hell out of my way.
But who he's talking about?
I don't understand why Mark or Casey, either one, are messing around up there in the front of the field. I know they want to show that they got good race cars, but they're laps down, many laps down. They ought to get out of the way.
And Jimmy Elledge's Casey Mears, his crew chief, had a great car earlier. We talked about it, but he's out there 9 laps down with 38 laps to go. Get to the rear of the field, get another 100 yards behind them.
Lap cars to the inside, lead lap cars outside for this restart.
Green, green, green. Green flags out.
With 37 to go.
You see Sterling Martin, our leader, going through the gearbox. 170 miles per hour off into turn 1, able to stay in the throttle wide open there, picks it back up quick.
See, there's Casey Mears right up in the way right there, and Mark down on the inside. I mean, basically they got the track blocked. I love both those guys. I'm kind of like Dale, but they need to get out of the way.
Yeah, because neither Nemechek nor Jarrett nor the cars behind him on the lead lap could clear the lap cars as the front two did.
I tell you who they all better watch, that 12 car right there, Ryan Newman. He's up there battling to get in the top 5 here with 37 laps to go. Remember, it wasn't but about 130 or 40 laps ago, he was a lap down.
He's got the free pass, and he's back in the hunt just like the 9 car is.
Hey, we're going road racing next week. Out to Sonoma, out to California wine country.
Be a shifty bunch of characters.
Yes, they will. Be a whole different race from today. That's next Sunday on Fox.
Dethrone Robbie Gordon as the road course king.
Sterling Marlin with his nose of that Dodge in the wind. But Elliott Sadler is right there.
Yeah, I believe he's going to ask Sterling, do you like plain or peanut?
You see Tony Stewart
as he
20
goes
car
by.
battling Greg Biffle. This is a battle back there for 9th.
Now, boys, I'll tell you, that 41 car would really be making me hot about now.
And Kevin Harvick has climbed up into the top 10. Good day for Harvick, 7th. Wouldn't you know it, Matt Kenseth just ahead of him, 6th.
And you know, Darrell, even though he's a little bit out front of those cars right now, out front of Dale Jarrett, we talked about the arrow here, he's out in front of you making your car push because he's taking downforce off the nose.
It's a distraction. It's a distraction you do not need.
Sadler looking for the lead. Being hounded by Mears.
That absolutely does nobody any good.
And Jarrett has the best view of it all.
Because these drivers have a good memory, Casey Mears will be in that position one day. But I'm just impressed with that 12 car right there, Ryan Newman. I mean, he got that free pass back on the lead lap, and he's been getting about a car a lap.
And he's the fastest car by about a tenth right now as he closes up on the front four here.
Casey Mears in the 41 about ran out of racetrack right there off turn 4, almost skimmed the wall.
Well, you got those different lines working again. Marlin about half a groove higher than Sadler. Jarrett right down on the bottom.
Yeah, and I tell you, Sterling's car looks like actually it gets better as he goes along here. It seems like the car picks up a little speed. You know, they say there's horses for courses, and I believe this would be Sterling Marlin's course.
You know, a guy we have not been able to talk a lot about today, Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets in the wall off turn 4. We talked about him back there in 20th. He was one of about 8 cars that came in on that last caution and got 4 tires. It's probably paying off for him right now because he's now about the highest he's been all day, up in 12th position.
Right behind Junior, Casey Kane, Michael Waltrip, Jeff Burton, and P.J. Jones. All having strong runs on the lead lap.
Dale Jarrett in 88, the UPS car, finally gets by Casey Mears in the 41 car. And I think you see right there NASCAR talking to Jimmy Elledge in the 41 crew. You know, we're late in the race, you're 9 laps down. Don't make a difference in this race.
Yeah, go race the cars you can beat, which today there's nobody within 3 laps of it.
I believe you're right, DW. Sterling Marlin in the 40. He's starting to pull away from Elliott Sadler in that 38. His car is getting a little better, and everyone else is getting a little weaker.
I think he's headed to the mountains.
26 cars on the lead lap. Which one will make it to the best placed victory lane in all of motorsports? Sterling Marlin leads Elliott Sadler by 1 second. Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Sunoco, the new official fuel of NASCAR. Good enough for NASCAR, good enough for your car. Caution flag has just flown again. This is the 7th one of the day. Joe Nemechek has gone up in smoke in the back straightaway while running well up in the top 10.
Water 200, oil 230. Still had all of its oil pressure. All right, just broke off, man.
And of our 7 cautions, over half of them has been for blown engines.
Our NASCAR race menu brought to you by Wendy's Classic Hamburgers. It's better here. Next Saturday, live from Milwaukee. Busch Series Racing, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on FX. And next Sunday, we go to Infineon Raceway at Sears Point. NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And one of the fellows who will be really strong there is having a great day for Arnold Motorsports here. P.J. Jones was running 17th at the time of the caution, and he is a stellar NASCAR driver on road courses.
Yes, he is. I mean, this is one of the best runs this car has had all year long. I know they had a good run back at Texas a few months ago with Derek Cope going, but just remember, he's only in his 14th Nextel Cup start. Had a good solid day at Pocono last week. Finished 22nd on the lead lap. Pretty solid.
Here's some strategy being played out. 40's in and everybody else stays out.
Matt?
Sterling Marlin trying to end a winless streak that goes back 74 races. He says the car starts out a little too free, but it slowly comes to him just the way he likes it.
But, Matt, I don't like that with about 20 laps to go. It's going to be tough to get back to the front, even with 4 fresh tires.
It's doggone hunt, boys.
You're going to have 27 cars on the lead lap with the addition of Scott Riggs when we go back to green. And it looks like a little more than half of them made pit stops. Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Wendy's 99-cent Super Value Menu. It's better here. Goodyear Assurance featuring triple tread technology. Autolite spark plugs. It's time to change your plugs. And by Chevy, the winningest name in racing, an American revolution.
Sterling Marlin, his father Cuckoo, his son Stedman, deciding after leading the last 22 laps to make the pit. He's failed to finish the last 3 races. What do you think of his move?
Well, right now, I think he's got himself in pretty good position. I know a lot of guys are saying, I would have never given up that track position, but right now, he's in 10th place, fresh tires, about 24 laps to go. Could be a good move. We saw Dale Jarrett do it earlier, a few years ago, and come from the back and win this race. He could be in a catbird seat after all.
And his wife Paula has said if Sterling wins, it's maybe the biggest thing since Mule Day. That's a 100-year-old tradition in Tennessee. Guys?
8 drivers did not pit. Dale Jarrett, Ryan Newman, Elliott Sadler, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Terry Labonte, Scott Wimmer, and Brendan Gaughan stayed out.
And of the cars that pitted, the car that won the battle off pit road, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, he's in 9th position. I get a feeling those guys changed just 2 tires. Look at Ryan Newman, though, in a 12 car. We've been talking about him side by side for the lead here as we got 23 laps to go.
Yeah, no, that's if they run side by side, is probably in the catbird seat, as we like to say.
Dodge Ford side by side, then Sadler's Ford, Harvick Chevy, and Busch's Ford.
What a comeback. From a lap down, gets it adjusted up. And hello, Newman.
9 different leaders today. This caution brought out by Joe Nemechek. Steve is with him.
Mike, Joe Nemechek in this 0-1 car had a great run. Joe, I know you're disappointed to be back here. What put you in the garage?
We ended up breaking something there in the motor. I got to thank Rick Hendrick and all the Hendrick Motorsports guys. They give me killer engines, and this is another awesome race car with awesome motor. The U.S. Army USG Sheetrock deserved a great finish. We've had great cars for like the last 8 weeks, and we just haven't been able to finish the way we run. So we'll just regroup, and we'll go on to next week.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
One of the cars that is not moving forward, as you watch Ryan Newman from Dale Jarrett's view, is Sterling Marlin. Whatever change they made on that Coors Light Dodge is not moving him toward the front, Darrell.
You heard him say the car's a little free on new tires, and you don't need to be a little free right now with all those cars around you in traffic.
Whoa, Terry Labonte in the 5 just ran out of racetrack.
Marlin was right behind him, might have taken some of the air off the back of Terry's car. Terry ran out of room.
Looks like that soft wall sticks out just far enough over there that you clip it. Seen a number of cars do this today, and then practice as well. Right off the corner, right here where the soft wall see where it tapers off? See all the black marks? Guys just need that little bit of extra room right there that they don't have anymore.
You're just carrying so much speed right there.
The driver who benefited most from that caution flag may well have been our point leader, Earnhardt. He has come to 5th place.
I mean, they won the battle off pit road. I'm quite sure they rolled the dice with just 2 tires. This is what they've done about the last 2 or 3 weeks. You talked about it, Darrell. They're lucky, but they're using good strategy. Everything's falling their way. That's what you got to have to win a championship.
Exactly, and we're not declaring Dale Jr. the champion, but you got to have that kind of luck and make those kind of calls if you're going to put yourself in a position to win the championship.
And I just got the confirmation, 2 fresh right side tires on that car.
Just ahead of Earnhardt, Kurt Busch was involved in the lap 1 crash triggered by Brendan Gaughan that sent Robbie Gordon into the right side of Busch's car. He's recovered nicely to run in 4th.
I tell you, Sterling is doing a good job, y'all, clawing his way back up here to these front cars. He's up to 6th place, and he's right behind Dale Jr., and we know he has 4 tires.
And he's going to like what he's seeing up there. These guys running side by side for the lead. Ryan Newman in the 12 on the high side. Dale Jarrett in the 88 can't quite complete the pass. Dick Berggren.
Well, you might wonder why Dale Jarrett and so many others decided to not pit on that last caution flag. There was an extensive conversation between crew chief Mike Ford and Jarrett. The tires on Jarrett's car were just fine. Ford figured with that many cars on the lead lap, 26 of them, the only chance they had to win was to stay out. And that's why they stayed out. They came here to win today.
I'm going to tell you something. That 40 car, there's 18 laps to go yet, guys, and he's got the tires. He's got the speed to do it.
The two fastest cars on the last lap were Marlin and Matt Kenseth behind him. Here we go for the lead once again.
These two guys here, if they keep this up, Sterling will be right there on their back bumper. Something needs to give here. These two guys need to work out something if they want to win this race, one of them.
And you know Dale Jarrett, he wants to win. He's not even had a top 5 finish since that win at Rockingham February over a year ago.
Yeah, and you also know that Ryan Newman is not going to give up the lead.
Here comes Marlin again, working the inside on Kurt Busch right there.
I mean, he went from 6th place. He's fighting up there now for 5th.
That's 4 fresh tires versus little older tires. And look who's coming with him right behind him. Back into the picture. Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car.
And that lap, Johnson was the fastest car on the racetrack.
Whoa, he just about got into Kurt Busch there as they come down the front straightaway.
Ryan Newman better run and hide because he's going to have company soon. Sterling Marlin is coming, and don't discount Elliott Sadler sitting in 3rd behind his teammate Dale Jarrett. Sadler's closing the gap.
I tell you, Ryan Newman's starting to pull out right now on that 88 car Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, I think once Ryan got clear of Dale Jarrett, that he made his car a lot better. Those two racing side by side was hurting both of them.
Sterling Marlin restarted 10th. He is up to 4th, and we know the longer the run, the better that car has gotten all day.
Well, he has the advantage. The question is, does he have the time?
And that time he beat our leader Ryan Newman by 2/10 on that lap.
He's got 15 laps to try to make up 1.8 seconds.
I think if he can get by, if he doesn't have to race people very long, if he can kind of get right on by them, he might have a shot.
Dodge, Ford, Dodge, and Chevrolet, the top 5. And this close to Motown, that matters.
Here you see Dave Blaney in the 30 car. We haven't really got to talk to him a lot. Pretty good solid run here today.
Yeah, top 15 considering that they destroyed a car in qualifying. That's a real good comeback.
Yeah, this is a backup car. Good solid run. This team needed that, and Dave Blaney needed it.
He was named this week as the permanent replacement for Johnny Sauter in that AOL number 30 for Richard Childress, with the exception of the road course next week at Sonoma, where they had already named Jim Englebright to drive.
I believe you put Blaney in that car, surround him with the good resources. I believe he'll give you some good results.
I tell you what, we've been talking about him just getting better and better. Casey Kane in that 9 car, he just moved past Kurt Busch. He's up in the 7th position. Remember, at one point, he was a lap down in this race.
Yeah, but look up front. Those suds are sucking up. Sterling Marlin is coming.
Well, actually, the whole front is they're pulling themselves back together. Dale Jarrett's catching up with Ryan Newman. Elliott Sadler looks like he might be closing in a little bit. Sterling looks like he might have hit a wall right there where he is. I don't mean that's the wrong thing to say. Looks like he might have slowed down right there where he is. Kind of come to a halt.
Well, they gained a bit of ground on Jimmy Johnson.
Kind of stabilized right there where they are right now.
It looks like Dale Jarrett maybe beats the 12 car Ryan Newman down into the corner through the middle. Then Ryan Newman really pulls him up off the corner.
Probably got a ton of gear laid up in that 12 car.
And I think that Marlin's strength, Darrell, is at the end of the straightaway. He's not beating anybody off the corner, but he's carrying it in hard at the other end.
Yeah, he did right there in turn 1, and it looks like he pulls to the inside of Elliott Sadler in the 38. This is a battle for 3rd.
Getting a run right there. This could be, he needs to get on by Elliott right here to have a shot. If he can get by here, he's got 9, 10, 11 laps to go. I think he's going to be able to do it.
But while they're running side by side, they pull that Lowe's car. Jimmy Johnson right up in there. He's going to take the position away from Elliott Sadler all the way at the bottom of the racetrack.
Kind of run out of room right there coming off the corner, and then you just kind of drag race down the front here.
Now, as he catches Dale Jarrett, we watch Johnson and Sadler side by side. And Casey Kane also coming into view.
If Casey Kane didn't run out of time, he could be a factor in this race because he is coming in a hurry.
Darrell, as Sterling gets closer to Dale Jarrett, will that help push Jarrett closer to Ryan Newman?
No, I think he's got to get up there to him, and it's so hard to pass here. You got to get on by him. You can't wait.
It'll be 10 laps to go when they come past the start-finish line.
And I mean, it's not that you wait, but if you can get by him in clean air, you can make a lot better time.
I don't think any lap cars will be a factor as we do get 10 laps to go that time.
Yeah, it seems like Sterling gains a little, then he loses a little.
That time Sterling did run the quickest lap, about a 10th quicker than our leader Ryan Newman. But will he have enough time over a second behind the leader?
And he's going to be able to run a little quicker because he's going to get a little draft off of the 88 car, which will pick up his lap speed a little bit.
There's the change in the interval for Marlin, and now Jimmie Johnson is catching up Marlin once again.
Boy, that looks, yeah, it looks like the 48 car is closing in a hurry, and so was the 9. I mean, there's a couple of good race cars back here that, if they didn't run out of laps, could be leading this race.
Yeah, ever since Jimmie Johnson got behind back on lap 87, got marred back about 9th or 10th, it's taken him this entire time, 100 laps, to get back.
I'm convinced that when Jeff Gordon blew up, I think Jimmie Johnson backed off a little bit, saved the engine, didn't keep pegging it against the rev limiter.
Marlin's going to have either help or hurt here in a second.
He's done now. I think he's starting to lose a little ground.
Yeah, because Jimmie Johnson in the 48 got a real good run off the center of 1 and 2 that time. He's going to pull right up to the rear bumper. That'll be good news for Dale Jarrett and especially Ryan Newman. They'll come to 8 laps to go this time.
Here comes the 48 car looking underneath. Well, he's not quite there yet, but he will be. The guy I'm impressed with is that 9 car, Kasey Kahne. That car was dog meat early in the race. I mean, he couldn't drive it. It wouldn't stick to anything.
Yeah, got lapped on the racetrack.
Yeah, he pulls up beside Elliott Sadler in the 38, the high side of turn 2. He's going to take the 5th position away.
Yeah, he just is going to drive right on by. That's the kind, and there goes the 48 by the 40.
At 3rd place, Jimmie Johnson.
Clear high.
Boy, the 8 and the 29 hung each other over there off of 2. Cost.
And Tony Stewart and Biffle.
Oh,
they got together. That's it.
Takes him out.
Just keep spinning it, keep spinning it, keep spinning it.
Both cars continue on.
Caution is out with 8 laps to go.
That was a battle for 8th right there.
I think this is bad news for everybody except 48 and 9, and I think it's good news for them.
I believe you're right, DW, for sure.
Tony Stewart, who started last and climbed his way well up into the top 10.
Looked like he just got in there under a Biffle, and this just sucked him right up into him.
This is not what Ryan Newman in that 12 wanted to see.
I think not.
Jeff Green will get the free pass, and that will give us 27 cars on the lead lap for the restart. First, let's watch what happened here between Stewart and Biffle.
Stewart, I think Tony thought he had it. You see his front end wiggle just a little bit, and it wiggles again, and he can't stay off of Biffle, and into him he goes. Just hard racing. Down in there. See him move up a little. Wiggles. Clips him just as he goes back.
Pretty hard lick on that 20 car.
Seven laps to go in Michigan in the DHL 400. Who will win it? Under caution with 6 to go at Michigan. You can race the pros online on our video game, now only on foxsports.com. Keyword games. Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Burger King. Step up to the Angus, a new steak burger from Burger King. Nextel. NASCAR and Nextel, partners in speed. And by DHL, finally a new choice in domestic shipping. DHL, we move the world. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a flat left rear tire. This caution is a break for him. Jeff Green also stopping. He does not get the free pass. There is no free pass when you're inside 10 laps to the end of the race.
Man, we got cars wrecked up, smoking, tires flat. People hitting this is incredible.
Scott Riggs stopped. Jeff Burton, Scott Wimmer, Brendan Gaughan, Rusty Wallace, Kyle Petty, and Jr.
Mostly cars that were kind of at the tail end of the lead lap cars. Had nothing to lose.
I tell you, Biffle, he did a pretty darn good job of keeping his unit running.
And Tony Stewart has made repairs and is back on track, as well as Biffle.
His car's running a little sideways.
Terry Labonte also made a stop. So Ryan Newman is the leader. Dale Jarrett, Jimmy Johnson, who has no third gear in his car, is third.
Who you taking? Who you taking? Quick. Don't think too long.
I'd love to see Sterling win it. I don't know if he can, but you know, that'd be neat on Father's Day.
I'm taking the 9 car. What do you think?
I just believe if that 48 can get going, I believe he'll be the man.
The 29 and 8. Watch this. Coming off turn 2. Junior runs up in front of him, and they make contact right there. And guess what happened to Junior?
Flat right rear.
Right rear tire flat. Had to pit. Falls back to 25th position.
But at least he had a caution to be able to change that right rear tire.
25th is 25th, Larry. With 3 to go, 4 to go.
Especially when Jimmy Johnson's up there in third.
Yeah, this is big. Huge
car's off. This is it. Ryan Newman, who has not won since Kansas in October of 2003, is your leader.
Ready.
4 to go.
Here we go, boys.
Jimmy Johnson can't get going. He's going to lose a spot to Sterling Marlin. Mike, you mentioned it. That third gear problem. He's going to lose another position to Casey Kane. Yeah, he's falling way back.
That's why he's been falling back so far on these restarts, Larry, and it's taking him so long to get going. Now he's up to speed.
Starting to fight back, but he's not going to have enough time.
No, it's not. And Ryan Newman looks like he's got what it takes.
The reason Marlin did not get a good restart is he was behind Jimmy Johnson and didn't want to run him over if Johnson had trouble, which he did. For the lead, Dale Jarrett has been pounding right on the white line on the bottom all day.
But that 9 car seems to really have the zip up off the corner. Whoa.
Michael Walker.
Michael got up against the fence.
3 to go.
Everybody's trying really, really hard right now.
Looks like Dale Jarrett beats him down to the center. They pick up the throttle. That's where the 12 is so strong. Boom, right there.
Middle off. Boy, all you got to do is be able to mat it right there, and you can put some distance between you and everybody else.
Here comes Casey Kane battling Sterling Marlin for third position in the 40 car.
I am impressed with the adjustments that they were able to make on that 9 car and get him up here. He's going to get a good top 5 finish.
Almost direct. That's P.J. Jones at the top.
Look at that.
Wimmer, Burton, gone. That's
here it comes. What's that 9 car? I mean, he just drove around Sterling. Sterling's got something wrong now, guys. He's slowing down.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson in the 48 pulls to the outside just like Casey Kane did, so Sterling's going to fall back to 5th. Lap and a half to go.
Bobby Labonte on Matt Kenseth as well. A lot of position changes here in these last couple of laps.
Well, we got trouble around on the back.
That's Biffle.
I think it's Biffle again, and they're coming to.
No caution yet. No caution.
If there is, this will be it. This will be the race.
Look at that. Come on.
Look at Casey Kane in the 9. He's battling for second place. Is that going to come to the white flag?
No caution.
White flag. This is just what Ryan Newman wants to see. The second place battle side by side.
That ain't going to be much for battle, Larry. That 9 is flying. He's doing the do right now, boys. Look at that thing rocking up off the corner.
Boy, did he ever get a run off turn 2. It's not over with yet, guys. Look at it. He just continues to pull up on the 12 car.
Newman strong at the end of the straightaway, but here comes Kane.
Here he
may catch him.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
It's got to be. They're coming to the checker, though.
But the field is frozen.
Oh, man.
Ryan Newman to victory lane for the first time since last October.
That's why I say you race back on the last lap.
Amen.
Gosh,
Amen.
darn it.
You race to the checkered flag.
When you get in the white flag lap, we've always raced back, and there's a good example of why.
And again, Casey Kane finds himself so close to victory lane.
Buddy, I'm going to tell you what, I believe that he would have had to, I think he could have taken him.
Here's why we're under caution. A great day for P.J. Jones ends up in a bad way. As there's the Arnold Dodge at turn 2.
And listen, I'm not pulling for either guy. I just like an exciting finish, and that was going to be.
And we were going to have one. But here's what happened to P.J. He was racing in a tight pack of cars prior to this.
Boy, that's a hard lick, but thank goodness for the safer barriers.
Somebody else up in the wall there at
high
way
up
back
in the,
behind him in turn 2.
See him back there.
Here's what happens to Biffle.
I think Biffle was trying to, his car was in the wall. I think he's probably trying to get too much out of it with the condition it was in.
Now, this did not bring out a caution.
No, because he got back going. You'll see right here.
Larry, it's just amazing with the roof flaps and everything they got on these cars now and how they can spin them out and save them and keep going. Whoa, $25,000 for Ryan's dad.
Yeah.
I guess I'm with Greg Newman and also Matt Borland. Dad, congratulations. What's it like to watch your kid win on Father's Day?
Look at this. That's what it's like. That is just awesome, man. Look at that.
He's filled with emotion right now, as he should be.
You bet. That's just beautiful.
Congratulations, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, look.
Like I say, we talked about it, Back on lap 22, he comes to pit road because he has paper on the grill, goes a lap and a half down, fights his way back, and here he is.
He's probably one of the best, Larry, I've seen it, coming back and making the most out of a good break, taking a bad thing and turned it into a good.
And another so close for Kasey Kahne. Can you believe it?
No, I can't believe it.
Welcome to the Nextel post-race show. NASCAR and Nextel partners in speed, and Ryan Newman, his first victory of this season, the beneficiary of the free pass back on the third caution on lap 89. In victory lane, the celebrating going on, and our Steve Burns is there.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. Ryan Newman getting congratulations from crew chief Matt Borland. Ryan, what does it mean, and a kiss from his wife, Christy, what does it mean to win this race here at Michigan on Father's Day?
The Father's Day thing's the biggest. First of all, happy Father's Day to mine and all the other fathers out there. Awesome victory for our team, Alto Dodge. Got to thank Mobile, Sony, all the people that helped us out, the guys back in the shop, brand new race car. Had to fight our way back, obviously. Got caught with a bunch of stuff on the grill in the first part of the race, got a lap down, got it back, and had a fast car, just had to work our way forward.
Ryan, I know racers want to lead every lap and win every race, but I also understand the CEO of Daimler Chrysler was in town, and how big is it to win for the parent company?
Yeah, Dieter's here, big win for Dodge in their backyard. We couldn't do it last year, but we did it this year.
And this win.
In this race.
and you guys made a stop, an unscheduled stop early, Ryan. Had to come back from that as well.
Yeah, that just like I said, a bunch of grill paper on the grill, and started getting pretty hot, and better to be safe than sorry, and we're lucky we were.
And you've already had a bath with your Gatorade.
Yeah, Gatorade victory lane's awesome.
All right, let's go to Matt. Thanks.
The guy who is chasing down the 12, Kasey Kahne. Could you have caught him if the yellow hadn't come out, Case?
I don't know if we could have caught him. I mean, it was, he got a little loose in two, and I probably would have finished about a car length behind him, but it would have been a good finish. And, it was great to run that good in the Mountain Dew car this weekend, and, all these Dodge dealers around the United States. It's the Dodge premiere this weekend with the new Dodge Magnum and SRT 10. So it's real cool to have a 1-2 Dodge finish. Ryan Newman did a great job.
Now, what a battle back. Lap 60, you were all the way back in 35th. You battled back to get your fourth second-place finish.
Yeah, that car was it was tough to drive early in the race. I saw it. I mean, I couldn't believe what was going on, and Tommy Baldwin, the whole team did a great job to fix it. So it was a great run. UAW, Mountain Dew, Valvoline, Siemens, PPG, everybody that helps us out. Bosch, it's has a great performance for us.
Took Bill Elliott 8 times. He finished second before he finally won. Casey's hoping he doesn't have to wait that long. Dick?
Well, there's a lot of happy Dale Jarrett fans. Don't leave, Elliott. We want to talk to you, too. Dale, what's it like to get another top 5? It's been a long time, not since February 2003. You had a great car today.
Yeah, we sure did. And same car as last week, and the engine ran great. Doug Yates and his people have done a fantastic job with these new engines, and we're just happy. Ran all day. We gave ourselves a chance to win. We finished in the top 5 with both the cars, with Elliott and myself. So a really good day for us. These are the kind of days that we have and want to have that we can build on. You put yourself in the top 5, you give yourself a chance to win.
What has produced the turnaround? You are running so much better now.
I would say Mike and I's communication is a lot better, and the other thing is this is an in-house chassis, and it does drive different, and it does some things that I really like, and so this is the second race that we've run it, and we've run in the top 5 both times, even though we didn't finish there last week. So that's the biggest thing. The car's driving really good. The aero package on it's really good. So just all that combination it takes for a driver to look good.
Congratulations on a great run. Chris?
All right, the 47-year-old Dale Jarrett third, the rookie Casey Kane second, and Ryan Newman, listen in on his communication as he won this race today.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. That's proud, dude. That's proud. Awesome, guys. Good job, Ryan. Good job, everybody. Good job, guys. Good job, everybody. Thank you.
There is Greg Newman, who set one of the more memorable moments. He was crying at New Hampshire when Ryan won his first race. Happy Father's Day for Greg Newman, father of Ryan Newman. Tears of joy again today, just like when Ryan won his first points race. Ryan moving himself up in the points race from 10th to 9th and inside that 400-point mark. But at the top, there's been a change. Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the last 8 races coming in, replaced by Jimmy Johnson as the points leader as we get ready to head to a road course in Sonoma next week. Now let's head down to the new points leader, who's with Matt Yoakum.
And also, we've got a check presentation because Jimmy Johnson, your dad, you are the highest finishing driver eligible for the program for your dad on Father's Day. Big Johnson, Gary, gets $25,000. Where's that check?
How about this? Leave with the points lead. Get to give Dad a Father's Day gift of $25,000. I also need to say Happy Father's Day to Papa Joe Hendrick and Rick Hendrick and other watching at home. Sorry we didn't get the win, but this check will work good for you, Dad, won't it?
Yeah. This is unbelievable.
And also, was second gear going as well, Jimmy?
It was not. Second gear was not happy. It was trying to come out of there, and luckily nothing. Luckily it held together because it was not pretty. Definitely didn't need third or couldn't use third, so I had to go 2 to 4, and it killed me on the restart each time.
A 4th place finish, 7 top 5 in the last 8 races for Jimmy Johnson. And there's his dad, Gary, gets a big check. Dick?
Well, by finishing 5th today, Elliott Sadler not only scored his first top 5 at Michigan, his first top 10. Who are you happiest for, yourself, your teammates, or the fans who saw a great race today?
Well, I'm glad the fans saw a non-controversial race and a great race, and I'm happy for both of us. DJ helped me so much here yesterday. I've never run good at all, and pretty much taught me what I needed to feel yesterday to have a good car for today. And just great for my pit crew. It's great for M&M's, Robert Yates, Ford, everybody involved to have a great finish like we had today. It's perfect.
Congratulations. Steve Burns?
Dick, with young Brian Vickers, who started on the front row and finished inside the top 10. Tell us about your day, Brian. Are you pleased with it?
Yeah, we had a good car at the end of the race, and we had one at the very beginning. We've been trying some new stuff, and kind of got us there for a couple runs. We got extremely loose and went way back, and we got the car fixed. Peter made some really smart, good adjustments. We tried a lot of things. We finally found it there at the end and went from like 22nd back up to 9th in like just a few laps. But the GMAC Chevy guys did a good job all day, and we're just going to take this and build on it, learn from it, take it to next week.
All right, see you in Sonoma. Thanks.
Thank you.
Back upstairs. Mike?
Thanks, Steve. Well, 2 drivers came from a lap down. Each got a free pass and ended up 1-2, validating NASCAR's treatment of running the yellow flag and then moving cars around under the free pass. Caution laps today. Well, we had almost as many caution flags as at Dover and Pocono, but we spent less than half the time under caution we did in either of those 2 races, but it's the 3rd straight race to end under caution.
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot of things better today. I still think I could get on pit road a little bit quicker. And dadgummit, I wanted to see that 9 car. I wanted to see if he could get up there alongside of the 12 anyway, but we'll never know.
Well, there's rumblings in the garage that NASCAR may be considering some sort of mechanism to end these races under green.
Well, that one, though, we're coming to the checkered flag. The race going to end just a little bit further down the track.
But I think we have to, because we've built so much around this chase for the championship, those final 10 races. And could you imagine getting to Homestead Miami Speedway, the final race of the year, and with 5 or 4 laps to go, a caution come out in our season and under caution? That's something we have to fix. Whatever we do, I don't care how you fix it, as long as we end these races under green. But I want to tip the hat to Matt Borland. He has set the precedence over the last year or so about rolling the dice when he stayed out there on those older tires, knowing he had to hold those guys off. But it was so good to see 2 drivers that had hit a slump, Sterling Marlin and Dale Jarrett, up there leading this race today.
Well, now we've had a good, clean, exciting, safe race. Now I can't wait to go to Sonoma.
Oh, I loved the race today. I thought the ending was just absolutely fabulous, and those 2 kids up there fighting for it. And I mean, it was a fun race to do. I hope that the folks at home enjoyed it.
A 1-2-3 start of the day for Chevrolet, a 1-2 finish for Dodge. Chris?
All right, yeah, thanks, guys. And again, happy Father's Day to all of you. We want to thank Quaker State for providing the aerial pictures here of the state of Michigan and Michigan International Speedway, as we have more to cover here. And Jeff Hammond, by the way, Casey Kane, we mentioned it at the top. He was in People Magazine 50 Hottest Bachelors, right? Here's his, okay, you get a shot of that? Here's his photo. So Casey Kane, a chance at the end, finishing second for the 4th time this year. And Mike went over the rules, but this is the 4th race in the last 7 that we've had a race end under caution. Anything NASCAR can do to alter this?
Well, I mean, a lot of guys disagree with me, but I'd really like to see them go back, like Darrell said, and finish this thing. When you take the white flag, you race back to the checkered. I think we could have maybe seen a really exciting finish. We saw a great race, but it was just a little anticlimactic because I don't know if Casey could have got to him, but he sure was coming.
Yeah, Ryan Newman, wonder what he was thinking about that. 10th different winner in a Michigan race in June in the last 10 races that we've had. Let's check in back trackside with Steve Burns. Steve?
Thanks, Chris. With Michael Waltrip, congratulations on a top 10 run on Father's Day.
Yeah, I was proud to carry Leroy around with me all day long. It meant a lot to me, and now I get to go home and soak up all the love of Macy, Caitlin, and Buffy on Father's Day. And you know, it's really cool the way this NASCAR family honors the fathers and mothers on special occasions. And I've just had a super day today. Thank Napa Auto Parts and all the folks on our team for giving us a good run. I was real happy with the way the car performed.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, thank you. And Ryan Newman says every time he races in Michigan, it feels more and more like home. It's a race that he said he kind of grew up on. He cut his teeth, raced, of course, in the ARCA Series in Michigan, won his first Busch race, Michigan as well, and he won last year's Cup race, the one that was back in August. And Roger Penske Racing, part of that success, and has brought the 26-year-old Newman along very nicely.
Yeah, we're taking a look right there as far as victory lane is concerned. Roger Penske's there. Ryan's dad, Greg, his wife, everybody. This is a great time when you get a chance to win like this.
And a guy who hadn't won until today. Look at this is the unofficial results that you see. Casey Kane charging second, Jimmy Johnson, Elliott Sadler. We've heard from Sterling Marlin, had the gamble, obviously, and the veteran hung in there. He led for a while along with Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, something happened to Sterling right at the end because he was closing and all of a sudden started falling back. It makes you wonder, what happened to that car? Was it an engine or was it tires? Another strong run for Kurt Busch.
Dave Blaney.
Dave Blaney. Awesome bounce back for these guys at Richard Childress Racing after crashing in practice. Got a backup car, had a very solid run today. Off to a pretty good start after kind of struggling through qualifying.
Rookie Scott Ridge, 20th. Dale Earnhardt Jr., who had done a really good job over the last few races, even when he hasn't had the best car, of hanging in there to protect that points lead. Lost the points lead today with that finish.
Well, he got up as high as 5th right there. It looked like they had things going their right way. Got together with Kevin Harvick, cut a right rear tire down, had to come to pit road. Didn't have enough laps to get back up there, but I think, he's still going to be a contender before the end of the year. He'll get himself back up the point lead if you don't watch out.
See Jamie McMurray with the Ganassi team. Also Jeff Gordon, the pole sitter, who led for 81 laps, out because of engine problems, and the engines took their toll, at least on a particular group of drivers.
High RPMs, around this big racetrack, it's really saw a lot of guys have problems. Jamie McMurray had problems. Jeff Gordon had problems, to name a few. That's the kind of thing that you're going to get into when you turn the kind of RPMs these guys are trying to do today.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the strategy towards the end. We're referring to Ryan Newman and his pit crew. And again, Ryan, a guy who has the degree from Purdue and engineered a victory here today.
Well, we talk a lot about his crew chief right there, Matt Borland. He likes to play poker, so it pretty much shows that he is a gambler. He's not afraid to sit there and hold a hand that normally wouldn't win. And as far as staying out, he was able to call the right call at the right time, and his driver got up on the wheel, pulled off a very impressive victory here today.
First win in the last 21 races for Ryan Newman. All right, next weekend, the scene will shift to Milwaukee and Sonoma. Another full weekend of racing. Friday, Bud Pole qualifying from Sonoma on speed, followed by the Craftsman Truck Series from Milwaukee with the Black Cat Fireworks 200. Nextel Cup practice on FX, followed by Busch Series racing from Milwaukee. Next Sunday, we'll be in the wine country, Fox Sports Net, and then Nextel Cup racing from Infineon Raceway. Robbie Gordon trying to win his 3rd consecutive road course. And again, the points race tightening up, and those trying to stay within 400 or the top 10. Casey Kane, by the way, is within 400 points as we speak. We mentioned that Jeff Gordon led for a while before being knocked out at the halfway point. Michigan International Speedway became the 3rd largest city in the state. More than 150,000 showed up on Father's Day as drivers honored their dads. Future drivers looked up to their dads, and in the end, Ryan Newman made his dad the most proud. For all of us from the Hollywood Hotel with Jeff Hammond, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for being a part of NASCAR on Fox. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there.